Anfield, striker Dave Kitson, and this is Premier League Live. The players back out in the middle and preparing for kick-off in a few moments' time, and we'll be having a moment's silence in a second. But just before we get to that, we will also of course say that it is in honour of the great Jack Charlton, who passed away at the age of 85. Impeccably observed, very much gone but not forgotten. Wonderful, wonderful player. Of course with Leeds United and then with England winning the 1966 World Cup, and as we know as a manager with the Republic of Ireland, absolutely stunning at the World Cups of 1990 and 1994. We focus then back on events here at Liverpool on Premier League Live ahead of their game against Burnley, and I'll run you back through the teams. Liverpool with four changes very much to the side. The loss beat Brighton 3-1 in midweek. Those changes see Robertson, Fabinho, Young Jones and Mane come into the team. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Cater and Alexander-Arnold drop to the bench. There is no Jordan Henderson for the rest of the season due to injury. So it's Alisson in goal, Robertson, Nico Williams, Van Dijk and Gomez at the back, Fabinho, Young Curtis Jones and Ronaldo in midfield. 4-3-3 with the Fab Three up front of Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. Adrian, Lovren, Minamino, Shaqiri, Origi and Elliott is the rest of the bench as everybody takes a knee in honour and support of Black Lives Matter. Another very, very important campaign, and as ever that is also impeccably observed before kick-off, as we're seeing in every single Premier League game. As for Burnley, one change to the side that beat West Ham 1-0 last time out. That change sees the New Zealand skipper Chris Wood come back into the team up front. Matej Vydra is the player who drops down to the bench. And it is Nick Pope in goal, back four of Taylor, Dukowski, the skipper in the absence of me, Long and Bardsley, Peters, Westwood, Brownhill and McNeil supporting Rodriguez and Wood up front. The bench in addition to Vedra is Peacock, Farrell, Goodmunson, Brady, and then the youngsters Thompson, Dunn, Benson, Goodridge and Driscoll Glennon. David Coote is your referee. We've got beautiful sunshine bathing Anfield. Liverpool kicking from left to right in the first half from our commentary vantage point here on Premier League Live in their traditional all red, and Burnley in their change colours. It's kind of a quite nice mid-blue. There's no claret today. It's the blues versus the reds as Liverpool pump the ball downfield, and then Burnley do exactly the same into the gloves of Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper. Dave Kitson, it is a beautiful day, isn't it? And hopefully we'll get a good game and a fair few goals, even if maybe it might be a bit one-sided. Yeah, I think it probably will. I'll just add my sentiments to that as well. With big Jack Charlton, rest in peace, a true legend of our game, and you'll struggle to find somebody who had anything bad to say about Jack. Great company and a World Cup winner, and they don't make too many of those anymore. No, you're absolutely right, as Alisson just plays the ball out of defence to young Curtis Jones, and Joe Gomez tidies up nicely. Liverpool work the ball downfield, down the right-hand side through Nico Williams, and yet a lot of the tributes were as much not just about his brilliance as a player and manager, but as you say, about his personality, about his genuineness, his infectious enthusiasm, his fairness, his kindness. There seemed to be a huge amount about Jack Charlton. Yeah, absolutely, and the World Cups as well. You know, I just remember watching them on the telly, and he was just a big part of it. Big, Irish football as well. Big reason why I fell in love with the game, the support, everything about it. You know, and he gave them cause to believe when probably they had no right to. It just sums up the character of the man. Surging run from Gini Wijnaldum, who's been in very, very good form of late, actually. The Dutchman, signed from Newcastle all those seasons ago. Wijnaldum with a nice run, head down, meandering his way past a couple of Burnley defenders. Really nice turn initially, Dave, to take Ashley Westwood and then Josh Brownhill out of the game. Yeah, really strong running from Wijnaldum. He nearly gets on the end of it. Burnley managed to get it away, but it's a sign of what's coming. I think it's quite a brave choice at the moment for Burnley to play two up top, which seems to be what they're doing. They do like to do that, don't they, Chris Wood and Jay Rodriguez? Could it leave them a little short in other areas, we wonder, over the course of this game? There are Plenty of workmanlike midfielders for the Clarets, but as Dave Kitson says, they're certainly, I think, over the course of the next 80 odd 90 minutes going to be quite heavily stretched and made to work very hard for anything that they can muster. Alisson downfield, headed back by James Tarkowski, picked up briefly by Liverpool, who missed control, and Dwight McNeil picks it up. Talented young player who's been linked to a lot of very big clubs, hasn't he, Dwight McNeil?
Yeah, he has. He's only 20 years old, and he's got a wand of a left foot. Unfortunately, it went missing last week when he missed an open goal.
Yes.
From the commentary that I did. But no, I've seen enough of him to know that, particularly as a striker, once he gets it out of his body and whips that ball across, you know, as a striker, you get on your toes and get across your man, because more often than not, he'll put a good ball in.
Charlie Taylor's just been upended on the far side, and Burnley will have a free kick. 3.5 minutes in, Liverpool 0, Burnley 0. I think Wijnaldum just nibbled at him, and in the end he ended up colliding with Nico Williams. All is well, and play goes on. In fact, there is no free kick, interestingly. I think initially there had been, but that has been reversed and play goes on. I thought he was caught, to be honest.
Yeah, it did look like a free kick, actually. It's a bit of a strange decision.
Liverpool maybe slightly get away with one there. Burnley are in possession, bang on halfway. Poor pass, though, is asking far too much of Phil Bardsley. Andrew Robertson, on his return to the team, the outstanding Scot, wins it, finds Firmino in field to Curtis Jones, who's forced to run a little laterally to the far side. Youngster Nico Williams with the delivery. It's slightly behind the glut of rushing Liverpool players, but Robertson is the player who reacts quickly, goes in field to Fabinho. Brazilian, powerful, imposing figure, wearing 3 from central midfield. Head up. Finds Jones once more to his fellow youngster Williams. Both Curtis Jones and Nico Williams getting plenty of the early ball.
Yeah, he is actually, Williams, on that far side. He's very, very keen to get forward. Looks a little bit nervous, doesn't he? His cross going beyond his teammates, but he's seeing a lot of the ball.
Yep, and he's just picked it back up from Mo Salah as well. Salah happy to give young Nico Williams a bit of time on the ball. The young Welshman from Wrexham, just across the border from Merseyside, making his 10th Liverpool appearance in all competitions. I think it's his 5th in the Premier League, so he has, David, had a little bit of game time, but clearly not too many starts at this level.
Yeah, and they obviously think highly enough of him. Like I said before the game, you know, it's going to be difficult for him to hold down a place in this Liverpool squad. It'd be difficult for anybody, but you got to give them the opportunity to show what they can do, if not for yourself, but you know, for perhaps another team to benefit.
Robertson in field to Wijnaldum. Sadio Mane's first touch of the match was a really nice one, just gifted the ball back to Robertson, first time delivery, and James Tarkowski reacts quickly, but it's at the expense of a corner. Nice move this, best of the game. Yeah,
they've started the game really well, Liverpool, just as we'd expect, but actually Burnley, this is part of their game plan. Actually, Burnley, no teams are going to come at them strongly, but they're very, very resilient for 20-25 minutes until they establish a foothold.
So it is a Liverpool corner, which will be swung in just a second by Andrew Robertson. Outswinger, it's a good one. Sadio Mane tries to get a shot in. Firmino was up there as well. Referee quick to blow his whistle. An infringement on Charlie Taylor in the melee. But just for a second, it nearly fell to the Liverpool strike force.
Yeah, Charlie Taylor, he gets fouled in the build-up.
Actually, does he collide with his own man?
Well, I think he might actually, but
okay.
I think he might. But on the turn and shot from Mane, it hits Charlie Taylor exactly where you don't want it as a player. It gets a little bit like it's a great block, actually.
Just about did enough there, Burnley, to get that one clear. It was a nice outswinging corner from Andy Robertson, who I think, as we all know, was one of the heavier celebrators, wasn't he, of the title?
Yeah, he was.
We saw. Then he's had a couple of games out of the team, just to rest and get himself nicely honed and back to the physical specimen that we know the former Dundee United man is. And he is back in, and he's one of the best players in the league. And do you know what? For money, didn't cost a lot of money by modern standards. He's an absolutely wonderful signing.
Well, I think 12 million quid from Hull, was it?
Yeah.
That's a sort of a transfer fee that Liverpool can afford to write off if it doesn't work out and get some money back. Actually, the best scouting came before that, because he was released, I think, by Celtic, and
they ended up stacking shelves, didn't he?
Yeah.
Then he got picked up, ended up at Dundee United, and then
that's right.
Yeah,
the scouting from that moment on has been absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to know who was behind it, but he's found his level. Finally, he's done it the scenic route, but here he is, Champions League winner, Premier League winner. And he's only a young man, He's only going to add more trophies to that.
And just on that for a second, David, as the ball goes out for a throw, because he's had that circuitous route, he's had to kind of, I guess, learn about when it's not working. He's that little bit older, and then perhaps your reaction as a player and the way you treat this opportunity can be a bit different in a positive sense as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's right. I do believe, you know, myself, I came through that route. Ian Wright came through. I used to model, you know, a lot of my game on Ian Wright. And I remember Steve Coppell, my manager, saying, you know, these guys that come from the lower leagues, they play as if it's their last game because they can't believe that they've actually here. And certainly when you look at Robertson, you know, it's one speed, isn't it? It's full on all the time.
Yeah, someone like a Glenn Murray would be another example. You come through the tougher route, and then, boy, do you take your chance. Liverpool's cross, by the way, was cleared well by the Burnley defence. Burnley try and work the ball downfield, but it's only as far as Joe Gomez, who picks it up nicely. Joe back into the team of late. Of course, there is no Joel Matip at the moment alongside Virgil van Dijk. At the moment, Gomez just ahead of Dejan Lovren in the pecking order for that position as the second centre-half beside the brilliant Virgil van Dijk, who, David, is just absolutely fantastic, isn't he? He's about to take a throw now. He's just such a colossus of a player.
Yeah, he is. But there again, you know, the scouting, it's Celtic again, isn't it? You know, getting him for next to nothing, getting him to Southampton, and then finally comes here for 75 million. It is. And I always bang this drum whenever we talk about Van Dijk, but it's what he's done to that back four, not just in terms of improving them as players, but actually if you think, like we say about Robertson, 12 million quid, you know, Gomez Academy and Alexander-Arnold, the Academy, what has he done to their transfer values? You know, if you wanted to buy one of those players now, what has he done to those transfer values? He must have tripled or quadrupled them just by being in that back four.
No, you're absolutely right. I think he and Alisson, as two very expensive additions, have been the correct ones. You go out there when you need to, you spend that money, and you get the net result that's required. You're absolutely spot on. Chris Wood did nearly break clear for Burnley. They're back on the attack again, and Jay Rodriguez not a million miles away from latching onto a ball over the top from Eric Peters. As it was, the aforementioned Alisson read it nicely, trotted out to the edge of his box and picked it up. He's been excellent as well, hasn't he, as a keeper and as a distributor? Yeah,
he has. I mean, I think we don't talk about him perhaps in the same breath, do we, as Ederson?
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's a good thing. I think when you've got a goalkeeper that you don't really need to talk about, you know he's doing everything right. It might not be spectacular, but it's reliable.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. Don't necessarily make yourself the story, and there are certain referees, I think we can say that as well, about ball over the top is a cracker. Here come Liverpool. First time delivery from Robertson, and Mo Salah looking for that 20th of the season, just over the bar, and that was Liverpool from defence to attack in the blink of an eye. Robertson's first time ball, and in the end Salah could not quite guard it on target. Fair play to the Burnley defence, who scurried back and put Mo under enough pressure that the Egyptian just slightly fluffed his lines and put the ball away from target. But Liverpool pick it up straight away through Van Dijk over the top, looking for young Nico Williams up against Dwight McNeil, and the ball is out for a Liverpool throw about midway inside the Burnley half. Williams in field to Curtis Jones. Now Gini Wijnaldum just edging his way forward as Burnley back off in the sun, really glaring down beautifully here at Anfield. You can hear every scream, every shout of the players, of the coaching staff behind closed doors. Here's Robertson, finds Firmino, little through ball, trying to find Gini Wijnaldum once more. Errant clearance from Burnley. Still they come, Liverpool, relentless stuff as Fabinho chips one in, looking for Firmino, who continued his run. He couldn't quite get there. This time Burnley do clear their lines. They win a free kick, but referee Coote happy to play advantage. Here's the Clarets on the counter-attack, having withstood that Liverpool onslaught moments ago. Rodriguez to Neil, all poked over the top from Westwood to Bardsley. Nice ball from Bardsley, but again, keeper reads it well, right to the edge of its box, and Chris Wood can't quite connect.
Yeah, it's scary when Liverpool go forward, because you've got players who are popping up in places that you just don't expect. The fullbacks here, Taylor and Bardsley, have got their work cut out. You know, one minute it's Robertson and Williams, and the next minute it's Salah, and even Fabinho there popping up on the left wing. You just don't know where it's coming from.
Another attack in a wave from Liverpool, with 4 or 5 red shirts scurrying forward like a swarm of red bees. Here's Sadio Mane, thought about pulling the trigger, takes it past 2 players, it falls to Firmino in the end, who almost took it off Sadio Mane's boot, In the end, it's deflected wide for a corner, but I wonder whether perhaps Mane would rather have shot himself.
Do you know, I would have liked to have seen it if that was Mo Salah making that run, that he'd taken it off his toe. We might have seen a repeat from the game last year or earlier this season, but it's brilliant play from Mane again. Once he gets up, the low centre of gravity with Mane, isn't it? Once he gets that ball and he twists and turns, he seems to go sideways as quick as he goes forward.
Robertson's out-swinging deeper corner this time. It's headed half clear as far as young Nico Williams, who thought about the shot, was caught in two minds, played the ball out to Mo Salah. Salah stretching for it, brought down by Jay Rodriguez. And Burnley have got a free kick, or Liverpool I should say have got a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. This is an excellent platform and position from which to attack.
Yeah, he's just sharper than Rodriguez, who's coming out to try and meet the ball. He dangles a foot, Salah goes over it, and this is a really, really good opportunity in a great area.
Yeah, slightly sold short Mo Salah there. I think Nico Williams, again as you say, is the youngster, a little bit nervous. Maybe would have had a pop if this was a Premier League 2 or a reserve game, but thought maybe I shouldn't with all of these star-studded players around me. Sold his teammate a little short, but regardless, Liverpool get the foul, get the free kick. Salah and Fabinho, the two players over it. Salah has a pop, it's over the bar, and if you're going to pick one thing Mo Salah isn't brilliant at, it's probably that kind of opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I particularly associate Salah with free kicks. You know, it's not so. But it's funny actually, because you know, for as good as Liverpool are, they don't have a standout free kick taker, do they? They seem to sort of mix
Alexander
it
Arnold
up.
takes quite a few, but he's obviously on the bench today. Yeah, it's a very good point actually. Milner would obviously take their penalties, but he is injured at the moment. But you're right, there's no real standout obvious kind of James Maddison, Todd Cantwell-esque kind of figure, is there?
No, there isn't. I wonder what Robertson is like with him actually. I mean, the way he crosses in to the area, you think, you know, he must be able to get on the set piece. Maybe he can't get a look in really with some of the players on this pitch.
I guess it's all about this fizzing intensity, isn't it, and just the relentlessness of how Liverpool attack, and not necessarily a dead ball situation that's always particularly critical to how they maybe kind of set the platform to attack. Anyway, the Reds on the attack once more. Phil Bardsley under pressure as well to smack the ball to safety. It's out for a throw, and Sean Dyche beneath us, already arms folded on the touchline. I think he knows, if he didn't know it before, that he's in for maybe a long afternoon. Yeah,
he is. 15 minutes coming up there or thereabouts. But you know, that's what you say as an away manager. Is that, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but we do really go by that rule. Keep it tight for 15 minutes. It's always been the mantra when you go away to the big clubs, and certainly Burnley have done that.
Remember, in case you missed it before, Norwich 0, West Ham 4. All 4 goals scored by Mikel Antonio, and confirmation that Norwich are relegated. West Ham all but safe, same potentially for Watford as well. They beat Newcastle 2-1. The Hornets were a goal down. Dwight Gale, 2 Troy Deeney penalties, giving the Hornets the win. They're the 2 results of the day so far. And remember, after this game, we bring you Sheffield United against Chelsea at 5:30 UK. And Brighton Manchester City at 8. They are our other 2 commentary games. 15 played here at Anfield. It remains Liverpool 0, Burnley 0. Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. We'll read out a flurry of those in a moment. There have been loads coming in as Wijnaldum brings the ball forward. A little ricochet to Firmino, who guides it to Mane. Now Robertson hugging the touchline, does well to get his cross in. Space opens up. Curtis Jones hoping for 2 goals in a week. Low strike, but Nick Pope sees it well and saves it to his right.
Well, he takes up a great position, Jones, on the edge of the box where you want your midfielders, because the ball that comes back isn't great from Robertson. It's pretty slow and bobbly as he moves towards the touchline, but it's the dummy from Firmino that does everybody. Jones comes onto it with his left foot. Doesn't really get enough on it, does it, to trouble Pope.
No, Pope was a little bit unsighted. Had there been a bit more direction and a bit more power into the corner from that shot, I think that the England squad keeper could have struggled, but as it was, as Dave Kitson says, just straight at him and lacking the necessary power. It is, though, another opportunity for Liverpool, who are slowly going through the gears in this game. They're not quite there yet, but we've seen a couple of customary moments of brilliance already from Jurgen Klopp's side, despite their 4 changes. Long ball forward, looking for Sadio Mane, who struggles to hold that one up, and Burnley get it back through Eric Peters. First time delivery over the top, looking for Jay Rodriguez, who would need to be an awful lot quicker than he is to have got to that, and he didn't look too happy as he looked back at his teammates, did he?
No, it's not a run that you really want to make. I mean, if it's a decent enough ball, you'll chase it down, but that was well over hit.
At the other end, ball over the top. Kevin Long does well to get there ahead of Sadio Mane, but the ball is still loose to Mo Salah, and that's a sensational save from Nick Pope. Salah looking for number 20 in the league this season, connected beautifully. It was fizzing into the top corner. Pope saw it just in time and claws it behind for a corner.
It's a long ball from Gomez. It's not really dealt with. It's a searching pass. And Long just gets enough on it, but he only can do with the header is put it up in the air. It bounces down to Salah, takes a little bit of shit on it, but we'll credit him with a decent snapshot, and Pope makes an equally good save.
Very good save there from Nick Pope. The corner is swung in. Charlie Taylor gets it half clear, and that process is completed in the end by Chris Wood, who's happy, the Kiwi, on his return to the starting 11 after injury, to just hook the ball downfield and give Burnley the scantest of breathers, because Liverpool are coming again. They are full of intensity and drive and hunger. Firmino, poor pass on that occasion, but it's then given away immediately by Burnley. McNeil it was who gave it away. Fabinho out to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum's cross deflects behind off Taylor. And they've got to be so careful here, Burnley, because they're suddenly being cut wide open at will, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're fortunate that goes out for a goal kick, because it will give them some respite. Another corner might have done for them, because this is relentless from Liverpool. And it goes out onto the far right hand side. Cross comes in and it's pretty well blocked. We're just seeing another replay of the save, and it is a really good save from Pope, to be fair.
He's an excellent goalkeeper. He's in and around the England picture. He's had to fight the likes of Tom Heaton, and of course just for a brief while Joe Hart at his own club to get his opportunities, but very much the number one now at Burnley, and enjoying pretty much every minute of it, isn't he? Yeah,
a big reason really. That back five is a big reason of why Burnley are where they are. You know, it might not be spectacular, but they dig out those results.
Offside, I think, against Chris Wood there as he tried to chest it down. And Nick Pope, another player who, of course, found opportunities hard to come by early in his career once he signed, and had to bide his time as a number two, didn't he? But again, that hunger to take your chance, it's been very, very clear. Yeah,
that's all. And it becomes obvious as a player to you as well, when it's sort of do or die. And that's the opportunity. That's where you step up, and the good ones always do.
He's still pretty young for a keeper. He's about 26, isn't he? So he's got a long and hopefully successful career ahead of him. And that save was one of the most memorable moments of the match so far. It was an absolute cracker. Nearly 20 gone here on Premier League Live. Still Liverpool 0, Burnley 0. James Pickard has tweeted in saying, "Goodbye to North Carolina's mountains. I'm now sat in the sun-drenched, COVID-ridden Tampa Bay seaside. Well excited to hear your Premiership commentary. I see Mane will get a brace or a hattie today. All the best from Yank Guna." James, really good to hear from you, my friend. And yeah, I'm sure despite the COVID-19 backdrop, you'll try and have as nice a time as you can on the Florida coast. Warren B saying, "Morning guys from Bristol, Tennessee. It's football time in the Volunteer State. Burnley to win today." Well, we'll have to see if that's going to happen, because there's an opportunity for the opening goal. It falls to Curtis Jones again. And this time it was an even better chance. He just dallied before he's got his shot away. And in the end, it takes a deflection and fizzes wide of goal. Great chance there for the youngster.
Oh, it's brilliant football from Liverpool. It's just so good to watch. It really is. When you get these great teams, it does become a privilege to watch. One touch, whenever it's one touch passing around the box, it is so difficult to defend.
Another dangerous outswinging corner, headed clear by Rodriguez, who's back helping out his defenders. Another probing cross from Andy Robertson. And Liverpool once more pick up the loose ball on the far side. Fabinho, options ahead of him, a little limited on this occasion, so he goes back to his centre-half Joe Gomez, from a Charlton man. In the end, Liverpool just kind of slightly getting each other's way there. Burnley had the chance to clear through Long. He eventually played it to Peters, who passed it straight back to Liverpool. His teammates will not be happy. Here come the Reds. Another extravagant combination between Mane and Mo Salah. In the end, Mo overhits that one. Mane can't get there, and it's out for a goal kick. If you're Burnley and you win the ball back, the last thing you can afford to do, surely, David, is then pass it straight back to the Reds.
Yeah, it's difficult for them, because obviously when Liverpool are attacking and they lose the ball, they've got shirts up the pitch, so the out ball for Burnley is a really difficult one to find, and even if they want to play it long, Liverpool are just swarming all over them. And I mean, even there, they're playing 1-2s in Burnley's box. That's how dominant they are.
3 wins, 1 draw in their last 4 for Sean Dyche's depleted side. 1 loss in 12 and 14 clean sheets this season. Second only to Liverpool in the Premier League. If they did somehow win today, 15 Premier League wins, which they could still definitely get to regardless, would be a club record. So just some of the positivity that has been going around Burnley Football Club of late. They're on the attack now through the excellent youngster Dwight McNeil. Out to the far side to Charlie Taylor. First time cross. Did that take a nick think the answer is no. Taylor was just losing his footing as he tried to make the delivery. Upended earlier in the game and not given a free kick, and he's looking a little bit frustrated on that far side as he skids into the advertising hoarding.
Yeah, I think he might feel that just took a nick off a Liverpool defender, but he's
not having a lot of luck, is he?
He's not really, actually. But yeah, there again, as we come up to the drinks break, coming up for 23 minutes, it's probably as Sean Dyche would have expected.
Yeah, he's probably happy not to have conceded, we can safely say. What's your take on the drinks break, Dave? We've had a real split, haven't we, when the managers were all kind of polled about it in their pre-match media conferences in midweek.
Yeah, I mean, I understand obviously why we're doing it, and I think that once the decision was made, to then sort of criticise it as we get on to the end of the season is a bit. It's not right, really. It is what it is. I mean, I heard Gary Neville going on about it, saying it was pathetic. Actually, it's like 2 minutes out of our lives. It really isn't the end of the world, is it? And
some managers, as we're seeing now, use it just to kind of chill out and relax, don't they, with their players? Others really impart and bark some orders out, and that's what Sean Dyche is doing right in front of us now.
Yeah, and I think that was Neville's point, that they're becoming team talks, really, more than anything else. You get some players go over, they're not even having a drink. They're just going over and listening to a team talk, but it's timed. So, you can't really take the mickey out of the situation. It's timed. You have the drink and you go back on the pitch, and that's it.
23 and a half minutes gone. It is Liverpool 0, Burnley 0, so we prepare to get back underway. Joe Ely has tweeted in saying, continuing my 12-mile training run in Minnesota, USA. It's a calm and rainy morning here. Enjoying your broadcast as ever, boys. Enjoying trips to Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff and Norwich City. Very, very nice. Great to hear from Joe. And a nice picture as well of Minnesota. Elsewhere, Prince Henry Cafidua tweeting in saying, good afternoon, TalkSport Live. I can confidently say that Burnley will shock Liverpool today. Loving your fantastic and heart-touching commentary from Cafidua in Ghana. Thank you very much. A couple there who are saying that Burnley might get something done today. For me, it's still asking a little bit too much, but 24 minutes in 0-0. I think Sean Dyche's team will be more than happy. We are back underway. And it is Burnley trying to press and hassle and harry their opponents, and they force the mistake in the end from Liverpool. Ball's picked up by Josh Brownhill, the former Bristol City midfielder. He's been enjoying a fair bit of game time with one or two of the other Burnley midfielders out injured at the moment. And Burnley happy and confident to switch the passage of play. Long ball over the top, back to the left-hand side, and Dwight McNeil on that favoured left boot, running at Jones, beating Curtis Jones. He now runs at the other youngster, Nico Williams, gets change out of him. And I think, doesn't quite win a corner. I wonder if he just nicked it off him there, but young Nico Williams did pretty well.
Yeah, he did actually, and we got a glimpse there of McNeil, and that left foot comes back and then goes again, jinks, and he'll be frustrated because he works the yard well and gets himself into the position to put a ball in, and Wood and Rodriguez are both there, and he ends up putting it out for a goal kick. Frustrating actually for a striker when that happens.
Well, head-to-head, Burnley have won just 1 of 11 Premier League meetings against Liverpool. 1 win, 1 draw, 9 losses, and they're winless in 12 at Anfield in all competitions. No wins, 2 draws, 10 losses. Their last win was way back in 1974 here, so before both of us were born.
Yes. Yeah,
definitely before. I wouldn't say well before, but before.
Speak for yourself.
We're about the same, I think. I'm 78. Are you 79?
I'm 79 now, yeah, just recently
similar.
though.
Pretty similar. 25 gone, it is 0-0. As Liverpool just calmly stroked the ball around, nothing to lose as Alisson hurries his pass slightly. It wasn't brilliant, but it was still picked up nicely by Curtis Jones and reacted and got there ahead of Ashley Westwood. Westwood tracks his runner well though, and is there to pick up the pieces when the passing manoeuvre goes a little awry. Burnley surge downfield. Another free kick I think would have been awarded when Jay Rodriguez was bundled over, but David Coote, the ref, had a good view, played advantage, and here come Burnley down the left through McNeil. That one I'm pretty sure did take a deflection. It did, and it's behind for a corner. Yeah, good advantage played by the referee, because it's definitely a foul by Van Dijk, but it goes back and then back out to McNeil, and it's the same jinky run again, and this time he gets it, cuts back in, goes outside, and he does try and whip that cross in, which we know he's capable of, takes a deflection, and this may well be Burnley's best chance of the half if we get a good cross here. 26 on the clock, goalless, Liverpool and Burnley here on Premier League Live. Got about 5 or 6 blue-shirted Burnley players in and around the edge of the 6-yard box. Ball is swung in, decent looking delivery. Alisson came and struggled to get there. Pretty sure there wasn't a foul. Virgil van Dijk heads it clear, saying that his keeper was impeded. I'm sure as a striker, you probably agree with me there that there's nothing really that anyone's done wrong here. The keeper's come, not got it, and we play on.
Yeah, he does get a touch on it, Alisson, and it's an important touch. Well, no, actually, it's Van Dijk actually headers it away. But what Burnley have done there is just crowded Alisson just to stop him from coming. It's not a foul, they just put bodies around him.
And that is certainly a tactic we've seen the likes of Sam Allardyce employ in the past with his teams. Burnley do it to good effect now. It's just basically making the most of what you've got and trying to create a level playing field. Corner from Dwight McNeil, lacked a bit of power, but the way it fell, there was nearly a half chance there for Burnley. It just didn't quite sit in time. And Liverpool do hack the ball to safety, and it trickles out for a throw midway inside their own half. Not the prettiest of corners, but it nearly worked. Yeah,
they're effective actually. The first one was much better. That one held up to the back post, and it was dealt with actually pretty well by Liverpool, because they did have a man over Burnley at the far post and a nod back across the box, and Liverpool may well have been in trouble.
So Burnley making life a little difficult for their opponents at set piece time, but at the moment the Reds are more than equal to the challenge, and we stay at 0-0. Curtis Jones. He's had a lively game so far. He's missed a couple of chances which will frustrate him. Got his first Premier League goal, of course, earlier in the week, and he's scored 3 times this season in all competitions. And he's a guy who's enjoying his opportunity suddenly in the first team. He picks up the ball from Firmino, who's happy to trust his young teammate. Back to Robertson, to Fabinho, and to Joe Gomez, who's being pressurised by Chris Wood, well tracked by Chris Wood. And he's forced all the way back into his own half and back to his captain, the Liverpool skipper Virgil van Dijk. And Burnley do a lot of good work without the ball, don't they? Yeah, it's really good pressing from Burnley, because for a minute Firmino had that in their area, and within the blink of an eye Burnley have forced them all the way back to Van Dijk deep in his own half. Jones again, 1-2 with Mane. Just couldn't quite pick up the reverse pass, Curtis Jones there. With a slight errant degree of frustration, he brings Eric Peters down, the Dutchman goes flying. Burnley get the free kick. So taking a closer look at the pitch, it is cutting up a little bit, isn't it? But we have had a fair amount of rain in recent times. I guess it's just that top part of the surface. Yeah, it's odd actually. We've just got a shot there. It sort of blotches on the pitch. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it doesn't seem to be affecting anybody anyway. It just looks odd. Yeah, the ball seems to be rolling relatively true so far, even if the pitch maybe isn't at its very, very best today. Approaching half an hour played, goalless still between Liverpool and Burnley. Matthew has tweeted in saying, I'd love to see Mo Salah score 4 today. So would I. Dindara Matthew from Port Harcourt in Nigeria, good to hear from you, my friend. To be fair, if Mikel Antonio can do it with the greatest respect, your old boot boy, then maybe Mo Salah can as well. Scored 2 and an assist in the week. It'd be great if he got to number 20 for that 3rd consecutive season with another goal. He's had 1 chance in the game so far, crisp shot that was brilliantly saved by Nick Pope. Here's Bobby Firmino, the Brazilian, wearing 9, 11 goals for him this season. Actually a low record in return really by his lofty standards. It's been all about Salah and Mane when it's come to most of the goals this season for the Reds. Here they come as Mane feeds young Nico Williams. This time he is confident enough to have a pop from distance. It's blocked by the Burnley defence, and the man who blocks it goes flying backward. It was a powerful strike from the young Welshman. It ricocheted back to Burnley though, and Jay Rodriguez, under considerable pressure, did pretty well to work the ball downfield. But Andy Robertson eventually came tracking back, won it back, and Liverpool then brought it downfield through Jones, who's then dispossessed himself. It's a slightly scrappy passage of play from both teams, as Bardsley pumps one downfield looking for Chris Wood, and Chris Wood isn't the most mobile regardless, is he? And it's asking too much as well for a man who's only just come back from injury. Yeah, it's the wrong striker really. We did see a glimpse there really of Rodriguez trying to run his team out, but it's a big ask against Gomez, who was tracking him, and Robertson, who's probably the quickest fullback in the league, certainly one of, chasing him as well. It's a difficult task. Fabinho, ball over the top looking for Mane, headed clear. I think it was Josh Brownhill who got back and made that interception. That was very important indeed. Kevin Long was back there as well, and a mixture of the centre halves and the defensive midfielders at the moment. They're being stretched a fair bit, aren't they? But they're largely keeping their shape, crucially. Yeah, they are. They've only looked ragged a couple of times actually, and it's where the midfielders haven't put enough pressure. Yes. On the Liverpool midfield, and they've been able to play that ball into Firmino, where he's got a one-on-one after that. Just leaves that little bit of ground in between the two, doesn't it, to attack from? Absolutely. So far, they've clung on Burnley, and they've had a couple of half-decent moments of themselves as Nico Williams miscontrols and can't quite keep the ball in on the far side. 32 played, Liverpool 0, Burnley 0. It's going to be a Burnley throw, which Charlie Taylor, the left back, will take. Another of those solid workman-like players who've come through the ranks at various clubs and found themselves at home in Burnley and been assembled into this very effective collective by Sean Dyche. It was a poor throw though from Taylor, having just praised him. And here come Liverpool. Mane, edge of the area, tries another 1-2 with Mo Salah. Ricochet as far as Salah, beats one man, beats the second. Could have passed to Firmino, decided to shoot. And guess who makes the save? Nick Pope once more, low to his left. And for the second time in the game, Salah is denied.
Yeah, they've tried that 1-2 again. Salah and Mane, and it ends up at the foot of Salah. I don't know what Westwood is trying to do here in his own box, and Pope makes a fabulous save with his left foot.
Two great saves from Pope. Corner is taken short by Liverpool and swung in from the far side. It goes all the way to Virgil van Dijk, well beyond the far post, who controls it beautifully. The, of course, World Player of the Year nominee, header into the corner. It's an absolute beauty from Andy Robertson back into the team. He's such an all-round player, this talented Scot, and it's a glorious bullet header into the corner. No chance for Nick Pope. And Liverpool, having huffed and puffed, finally take the lead. It's Liverpool 1, Burnley 0.
Oh, it's a fabulous header from Robertson. I saw him make the run from the right flank, and you're asking then, can Fabinho pick him out because he's over on the far right-hand side, completely unmarked? It goes back to what we were saying, players popping up in positions where you don't expect them, and it's Andy Robertson on the right flank, and what a header that is, right in the top corner, and Pope for once has got no chance.
That's absolutely brilliant for a fullback, not, I guess, generally renowned to be fine headers of the ball. It's just fantastic. He's such a good all-round player, this kid.
He is. He's got to be one of the bargains of the last 10 years in the Premier League. I think £12 million from Hull. And, well, like I say, he's won everything now, hasn't he, with Liverpool, and he's a young man. He'll probably win an awful lot more. And if he keeps adding goals to his game as well, he'll become one of the best fullbacks in world football.
Yeah, he's definitely got that potential. I could not agree more. Officially timed at 34 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0, Andy Robertson. At the other end, the other fullback for the day, of course, is youngster Nico Williams, who got himself caught in a slightly tricky position there, and he's brought his man, Josh Brownhill, down. Brownhill got goal side, was bearing in on the edge of the penalty area, and Nico just rather clumsily brings him down.
Yeah, it is a clumsy one from Williams, and it's that sort of rashness to try and to go for the ball when really you ought to stay in your hole, and Brownhill takes advantage of it, and Williams has to bring him down, and this is dangerous for Liverpool.
This would be the perfect time, needless to say, for Burnley to hit straight back. 35 minutes, right-footed in-swinger. Not the best, it didn't clear the first man. That first man was Robertson, who scores at one end and then clears the danger at the other. He can do no wrong.
He can't, and he has been the standout player on the pitch so far, there's no doubt about that.
Get that man a pair of underpants and a cape to be Superman. 35 gone. It is Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Fortune Albert has tweeted in from Port Harcourt in Nigeria saying, I think Liverpool will go on to demolish Burnley from here. Salah chasing that golden boot. 100 plus points is the target this season. I still think this will be over by half time. I guess if they get one more, yeah, it's kind of all but over, isn't it?
It probably will be, yeah, because, you know, rarely will Burnley score a couple of goals away from home, and certainly not against the champions, you wouldn't think.
Liverpool looking for that second as we speak. Space is opening up for Robertson. Edge of the penalty area, infield to Sadio Mane. Thought about a curled effort. He finds young Nico Williams at the other end instead. Williams in a one-on-one situation. Goes onto his weaker left foot, having been well pressurised by a combination of McNeil and Westwood. And Williams found himself in the end in not exactly an ideal position. The ball was blocked and it ricochets back to halfway. Joe Gomez, thump as you hear that one leave his right boot.
That's a rarity.
Overhit that, didn't he? It's gone fizzing miles out of play.
I couldn't tell you who he was aiming for there. That was, and Jurgen Klopp, we can see on the pitch on the side, is laughing.
It's like one of your drives.
I don't play that game.
As it was kind of powerfully struck. You could hear the thump from right up here in the commentary booth, but just went fizzing straight out of play from Joe Gomez. Goal kick smacked downfield by Nick Pope. It was a very lengthy clearance, and Liverpool pick it up on the far side. Roberto Firmino up against McNeil and beating him. Good all-round work from the Brazilian forward. Infield to the Dutchman, Gini Wijnaldum. Now to young Williams. Nice turn to fellow youngster Curtis Jones. This a good flowing team move from the Reds. But the danger well read in the end. That was stout defending. I think that may well have been Phil Bardsley, the right back, who came cutting across. It was. He sniffed out the danger in the middle, won it back, but Burnley's other players stand off the danger, much to the frustration of Sean Dyche, and it allows Liverpool through Fabinho to win the ball back and come again to Wijnaldum, to Robertson, 1-2 with Mane, just overhit. Robertson couldn't get there, but again, you give the ball back to this Liverpool team and they've got so many different ways they can make you pay.
Yeah, they have. It's cheeky from Mane, because the only way he can try to slide that ball through to Robertson is if he nutmegs Bartley, and that's exactly what he does, but he just overhits
audacious.
It really was, actually.
By the way, that was Andy Robertson's third goal of the season, so he's not been at his most prolific this season. He's got a couple more last season, and of course bags and bags of assists, but it was an absolute beauty and one that he will never forget. And they're just showing, funnily enough, on the big screen here at Anfield, the goal again, and also the fan wall of the spattering of fans around the world who've got webcams and all the little boxes all jumping up in joy and everybody celebrating. And that is as close as we'll get to a fan experience at the moment, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, certainly this season. You know, it's I'm just glad we managed to get this back on
totally
and wrap it up. Would have been so unfair, really, on the people who have spent good money on their season tickets but didn't get to see the end of this season to see how it pans out.
Absolutely. Here come Burnley at the other end through Dwight McNeil, and that was a barnstorming run from the youngster, maybe trying to capitalise on the inexperience of Williams ahead of him. Kept running and running, just near the corner flag. Early cross, Jay Rodriguez almost getting there, and Burnley not a million miles away.
Yeah, Liverpool playing it across the back, and they lose. It's Gomez.
Yeah, did well.
Yeah, he gets back in because it was his error really that led to it. Williams gets caught up.
McNeil picks up another loose ball on the far side, a little bit sloppy from Liverpool. Lofts it in trying to find Chris Wood, but Virgil van Dijk, such a wasteful player in the air, he won it back easily. First time cross from McNeil again, off Williams and behind for another throw. That battle between these two young players on the far side is an intriguing one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a clear game plan from Sean Dyche. Get the ball out to McNeil. Everything that Burnley are doing that's good from an attacking point of view is going through McNeil. They've obviously told him to get at the youngster, make him uncomfortable, and I have to say, unfortunately, that's exactly how he looks at the moment.
And it's slightly then affected the offensive side of his game as well, hasn't it, where he's looking a little devoid of confidence because of how much he's being pushed defensively, if you see my point.
Yeah, he does. He's getting up the pitch, he's doing his step overs, but he's not getting a lot of change out of Taylor, who's playing left back for Burnley. But you know, it's all good experience. This is what you're up against. There aren't players that you're going to have in your pocket on a week-to-week basis in the Premier League.
There is no such thing as a free lunch, Dave Kitson.
That's right.
As we know, another decent in-swinging delivery. Some of Burnley's set pieces have been quite good in this game so far. In the end, Alisson was forced to fist the ball clear from pretty much on his own goal line. He did so and did so fine, but yeah, nice in-swinger from Josh Brownhill there.
Yeah, they're just putting it right onto Alisson. Another corner once again, put it right onto him. And he's not getting the distance really, and he missed the first one actually. Didn't get great distance on that, got bailed out by his defence.
Decent delivery, 40 gone, Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. And here come Burnley again. McNeil picks up another errant Liverpool pass. Thought about the shot this time. Not the worst of efforts, definitely worth a go. Takes another nick, and it's behind for another corner. Burnley with an excellent spell, David, 5 minutes before the break.
Yeah, it's sloppy, and we can see there Robertson, as good as he is, his right foot is not his dominant foot, gives the ball away. And you have to say, yeah, McNeil, once he gets the ball there on the edge of the box, just shoot and see what happens. Takes a deflection, could have gone anywhere, and it's going to be another one of those Burnley corners.
Carol has sent us a beautiful tweet of a picture of the sunny Florida Gulf Coast, saying great commentary as ever on a sunny day. Carol, we always love to hear from you, my friend. Looks very nice there as the sea comes in. Swinging delivery, Alisson again with not the most convincing of punches, but gets a pair of gloves on it and does enough to get it to the edge of the penalty area. Dwight McNeil's had an industrious and fairly probing few minutes. It's he on the far side up against Curtis Jones rather than Nico Williams, and Jones just showed that bit of extra poise and physical prowess, didn't he, to guide that one out.
Yeah, again, 4 players going in on Alisson, who doesn't really get a punch. It's more of a slap, doesn't get it very far. Robertson helps him to get it away, and Jones is having to help Williams on that right hand side now,
which again is kind of almost good for his development and shows his all-round reading of the game.
Yeah.
He's able to spot that his fellow youngster is struggling a bit.
Yeah, it is. It's very good game awareness. They do rate this kid highly. I've heard some very, very good things about him.
That's wonderful play from Sadio Mane, who in effectively one graceful flowing move picks up the loose ball, runs with it and passes it up to Robertson. Delivery from Robertson, and that fizzes across the edge of the goal line. Nobody from Liverpool could stick the crucial boot on it, and it trickles just wide of the post. Burnley's defence and keeper mere passengers, and they're inches away from a second goal, Liverpool.
Well, he's just a nightmare to play against, Robertson. He really is. He leaves Peters for dead. Goes inside, then back out, gets the ball across on his left foot, and on another day, that is a tap-in.
Times Burnley are almost playing three at the back, aren't they, with Bardsley tucking in and Peters coming back to play almost as a right wing-back. I haven't quite worked out at times what it is, or whether it's just whoever's free, stick them on Robertson and try and stop him.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to do. You pressure him high up the pitch, and he'll cheat, he'll go beyond you, and you can't just leave him because you won't catch him.
And therefore that's effectively bringing two players out of the game to deal with him, and that's freeing up space elsewhere, isn't it? Yeah,
that's exactly what it is, and that's why Burnley have tried to play the ball in behind a couple of occasions, but Wood not the quickest to chase it.
Better ball over the top this time. Rodriguez, I think, was in an onside position, was he? Just checking for the referee's assistant.
Well, that was really odd. I thought he was miles off. Everybody stopped. I thought he was miles offside when this ball goes in, but he isn't. We're getting a replay, and actually it's Robertson who plays him on, and Rodriguez takes this down. It's an acute angle, but even so, he can be a lethal finisher when the mood takes him, but there it just deserted him.
Oh, totally can be. 10 goals this season for the former West Brom man, back of course at Burnley where he enjoyed a good spell earlier in his career. I don't think Rodriguez, as much as anyone could believe that he was onside, one-on-one, but I admit from a tight, acute angle, regardless, Dave, his shot didn't even reach the corner flag. It went out for a throw, and that is poor at this level.
It is really. I mean, I can only assume that he thought the whistle was going to go, and he's
as a prolific man yourself back in the day, that's the last thing you should be doing. You should take the chance.
Absolutely, it's a horrible drag of a shot. He drags it clear across goal. If it was a cross, it was very good, but it wasn't.
You would not see too many of those from Dave Kitson back in the day.
No, just put the ball in. Just put, even when the whistle goes. I was always taught, even if you hear the whistle, put it in. Practice.
And particularly in these current climes, where of course the goal could then be re-given after VAR, all the more reason to keep going until you're told not to.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
Here come Liverpool back on the attack anyway. Robertson trying to atone for that slight mental lapse to Mane, to Firmino. Ball takes a deflection behind for another corner. Nick Pope comes running out to the edge of his 6-yard box to try and keep the ball in play. He can't do so. And after a lengthy spell on the back foot, Liverpool, as again the sun beams down here on Merseyside, have worked the ball downfield and earned themselves a corner kick with a few seconds to go of this first half, Dave.
Yeah, they want to try and make the most of this, really, see if they can put one onto Van Dijk's head. You'd have to assume he's going to be the target, and that's why Tarkowski's marking him, and it's the young man Williams who's going to take this corner.
Swinging delivery, headed clear once more. Eric Peters might have been given a bit of a torrid time with the ball at his feet by Andy Robertson, but the former Stoke defender, the Dutchman, did well there with the ball in the air and headed it to safety. It's a Liverpool throw just inside the Burnley half, taken to Joe Gomez, to his fellow centre-half, Virgil van Dijk. He loves to ping a deep, probing quarterback-style pass. He does so looking for Williams, who again is up against Charlie Taylor. Doesn't get much change out of Taylor, but the youngster this time at least does get a throw. By the way, 2 additional minutes have just appeared on the fourth official's monitor to our left. And we're into the first of those here on Premier League Live, where it remains Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Andy Robertson's very deft header midway through the half is the difference between the teams. Salah to Wijnaldum, back to Mo Salah. This time the ball is read well by James Tarkowski. Another player, funny enough, in our band of those that had to wait for their chance and has now taken it. He's another example, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and that's what Sean Dyche does. They come through and they get up to usually championship level, make a name for themselves, and he takes them on.
Be right in saying it took Michael Keane being sold to really get into the first team fold and have his chance alongside Ben Mee.
Yeah, and very good business, you have to say, because they got a very handsome transfer fee. And they distributed those funds very, very well, and they're probably stronger for it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And Keane has gone on to have some success, but proven to be maybe a little shaky at the very top level despite his England caps. Tarkowski continues to be an excellent, solid player. He's been linked to some bigger clubs with the greatest of respect than Burnley as well. Robertson as far as Salah, now to Sadio Mane. Oh, and another remarkable save from Nick Pope. Flowing Liverpool move, Marley lets rip from 25 yards, and Pope, with the ball destined for the corner, claws it behind. Wonderful keeping.
Oh, well, right on half-time, the whistle's gone, but it's wonderful football all round. The cross comes in, the touch from Salah over his shoulder is absolutely outrageous. He gets it back to Mane, who swivels and shoots, and Pope is equal to it. It's his second fabulous save.
That one for me was even better. That,
it was.
With the speed of the shot and the fact it was right in the corner, was just stunning.
Yeah, that was incredible. It's one in each corner now, one with each hand. That one even more impressive than the last.
If you were striking up against him, you'd be a frustrated man at this point, Dave.
I certainly would. I'm frustrated anyway.
And then there's football. Anyway, half-time here at Anfield. Loving your work, my friend. Great to be alongside you once more. At the break, Liverpool 1, Burnley 0, Premier League Live.
We all want to stay safe and protect each other from coronavirus. We do this by cleaning our hands, social distancing, and covering sneezes and coughs. We can also do this by wearing a face covering. Face coverings help prevent people who don't know they have the virus from spreading it to others. They should be worn anywhere it's difficult to stay 2 meters apart, like shops or public transport, or when visiting anyone who's more at risk. Wear a face covering. Stay safe. Protect each other. See hse.ie for more.
When the day arrives for you to scrap your old car, help will be at hand. With Elves, the go-to place for car recycling, the process is easy. First, visit elves.ie to find a recycling facility near you. Next, drop your car off or have it collected. Finally, receive your certificate of destruction, ending your responsibility for the vehicle. And that's it. It really is that simple. You've done your bit for the environment and for your own peace of mind. For more information, visit elves.ie.
The Burke family saves €365 with the big summer save at Lidl. And you can make big savings of your own with our delicious ready-made mixed bean salad for just $1.49. There's our handy spinach, watercress and rocket salad packs at an incredible $1.29. And 250 grams of juicy Irish strawberries for only $2.49. Start your big summer save at Lidl.ie. Lidl, more for you. The Burke shop between May 21st and June 8th and receive a gratuity for participation.
From teaching them how to ride a bike to brushing their teeth, life lessons really matter. Teaching kids about money is one of the most important. That's where Ulster Bank's Money Sense can help. An online hub with free interactive content to help kids aged 5 to 18 make sense of money. It also has great tips for parents on how to equip their kids with positive money skills that can last a lifetime. Search Ulster Bank Money Sense today. Ulster Bank. Help for what matters. Ulster Bank Ireland DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
You know that feeling you get when you sense a team's winning streak is about to end? Or when you know the pundits are getting it all wrong? That feeling? That's me. I'm your hunch. I was there back in Istanbul when you just knew the comeback was on. I'm the guy that tells you when the odds don't look so odd. I'm your hunch. It's time to start listening.
Heed your hunch with Betway. Download the app to find out more about Betway's Bet Club. Full terms apply. 18 plus Dunlewy.net. Bet the responsible way.
Switch to 3 Bill Pay today and get a top-of-the-range smartphone for the guilt-free price of just $9.99. Choose from the amazing iPhone XR, iPhone SE, or the Samsung S10e. All plans come with all-you-can-eat data with no usage limits, so you can stream, download, and connect to your heart's content. Switch in store or at 3.ie. 3. Make it count. From €45 a month, direct debit and 24-month minimum term applies. All you can eat data, ROI only. See 3.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Burnley from Anfield. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves. Alongside me, the former Stoke City, Portsmouth and Reading striker, Dave Kitson. This is Premier League Live. At the break, Liverpool lead again, but by just 1-0. There's been some great chances, some fantastic goalkeeping, and just the 1 goal so far. Let's round up how it's all played out so far on Premier League Live. Goes all the way to Virgil van Dijk, well beyond the far post, who controls it beautifully. The, of course, World Player of the Year nominee, header into the corner. It's an absolute beauty from Andy Robertson back into the team. He's such an all-round player, this talented Scot, and it's a glorious bullet header into the corner. No chance for Nick Pope, and Liverpool, having huffed and puffed, finally take the lead It's Liverpool 1, Burnley 0.
Oh, it's a fabulous header from Robertson. I saw him make the run from the right flank, and you're asking then, can Fabinho pick him out because he's over on the far right-hand side, completely unmarked? It goes back to what we were saying, players popping up in positions where you don't expect them, and it's Andy Robertson on the right flank, and what a header that is, right in the top corner, and Pope for once has got no chance.
So that's how we stand at half-time here on Premier League Live. Keep your tweets coming in as well at TalkSport Live. Stanley Chris, there is still one record that Chelsea holds that Liverpool can't break this season. That's from Lagos in Nigeria. And we're just double-checking with our stats team, and we're pretty sure that is the one for the least goals conceded on the way to a Premier League title, which is, I think, 15 or 16 by Chelsea. And Liverpool aren't going to quite muster that, as impressive as they are. That under Jose Mourinho was a feat that maybe, I think, will never be equalled. We'll wait and see. Ibrahim Goodness has tweeted in from Abia State in Nigeria saying, I think we'll go on to see Liverpool eventually win, but I can't wait for the blockbuster at Bramall Lane later on today. So Ibrahim is either a Sheffield or possibly a Chelsea fan. Babamu, Man United, coverage of Premier League football on Diamond FM in Tamale and Ghana. Loving every minute of it. Thank you for that, my friend. Dave Kitson, here's one that's right up your street for now, and mine. We've got the brilliant Brent Parker, who owns a restaurant in Montana, and every match that we commentate on, he's always got it on in his cafe, and he sends us a picture of what they're cooking. And he says, pork on the smoker and Premier League Live on the radio. It's the way we like it here at the cafe, enjoying the day-long excitement and the commentary of all the games. I believe that my Gunners will go on and win the derby tomorrow, but the pork on the smoker looks just sensational. It's glazed, it's got a little bit of paprika, I think, on there, a little bit of parsley maybe. It just looks,
I'm very jealous.
Lovely. I would destroy that, I have to say. Good work, Brent. Your cafe looks great. One day we'll come and we'll eat you out of house and home, and we can't wait. Now, two matches to look forward to later today. Let's just switch to those for a second. At 5:30 UK, one of our tweeters mentioned there, Sheffield United and Chelsea. That's with Hogan Ephraim and Toby Gillis. Let's hear a little bit of Chelsea boss Frank Lampard heading into this one, talking about how when he came into the job there was no specific target when it came to a Premier League finish.
In brutal honesty, I didn't even know exactly where my expectations would be because of the changing situation. It's not something that's been common here in recent years. There's been able to be movement. The club has moved forward, and a player like Eden leaving generally would have been replaced in some way. So we've had to find ways around that. Now the destiny is in our hands, and it's up to us. You know, I'm pretty happy where we are. I think we could have done even better at times. But I can't even jump the gun now because we've seen in the last few weeks even how the table can look very different very quickly. So we mustn't jump ahead of ourselves. It's where we end that will be the important thing.
Yeah, that fight between third down has suddenly really tightened up, hasn't it, with Leicester and Chelsea not at their very best, and the likes of Man United particularly, David, just sweeping all before them, 17 unbeaten.
Yeah, I think Chelsea have picked up in recent weeks, and people are already getting a little bit excited as to what their first 11 might look like next season. It does actually look pretty mouth-watering, but there again, you know, they've lost 10 games this season, and they're 32 points behind Liverpool, which is just unbelievable for a Chelsea team throwing this kind of money around. And that said, you would probably say, well, he's done a good job. And yet, you know, it's not anywhere near title contenders. They'll be stronger next season. There's no doubt about that. But if they get into a Champions League berth this year, which it looks for all intents and purposes as they will, you'd have to say, you know what else did you want from Frank?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Given one arm effectively tied behind his back with a transfer ban and not that many funds regardless. But you look at the players that he's trusted and given game time to, you know, the Mason Mounts, the Reece James of this world, Tammy Abraham, and yes, some have gone a little flatter and quieter as the season has gone on, but Dave, you expect that from young players, don't you? And then the likes, say, of an Olivier Giroud and others, then they step up and keep that momentum going as perhaps the campaign draws to a close.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to use what's at your disposal, you know, and he's done that. I think actually one of the big benefits of having that transfer ban has been the emergence of some of these young players that we might not probably ever have seen in a Chelsea shirt.
Maybe Fikayo Tomori would be another, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And Gilmour as well, who has just been, everyone has been raving about Gilmour ever since his debut. He looks like a wonderful player. He really does. Right up my street, I have to say. And we may not have seen them. And the question is, you know, now we're seeing the Werners come in, the Pulisic is already there. There will be more signings. And we just wonder what's going to happen, you know. But whatever does happen, it's a very, very strong squad.
And Pulisic has just kind of bedded in over the season, hasn't he? And has been humming when fit of late in a brilliant, brilliant fashion. USA listeners love him, and quite rightly so. So do we. So Sheffield United, Chelsea, that's at 5:30. And then a quick word on Brighton, Manchester City at 8. I did Man City for us in the week as they cantered past Newcastle with their eyes shut. This is Tom Rennie and Kit Simons, the former City defender, our commentary team for it. I don't know. I wonder whether it might at least be a bit tighter, this one today. Brighton might give them a bit more of a game.
Yeah, possibly. I actually think Potter's done a really, really good job here. I mean, the eyebrows that were raised when he came in were who? But I think he's done brilliantly well. I really do. And I mean, it's like we were saying about Frank. What do you expect?
Well, he's charged, isn't he, by them? He's told, make us more entertaining, make our fans enjoy watching us more.
Yeah, well, that wasn't difficult.
But also, please get the results as well. Please do both things at once. Bring us the best of Houghton and the worst of Houghton, solve it. Do you know what I mean? It's a very tricky double-edged sword.
Yeah, and he's done that. I mean, you do fear for them because there's never ever great investment at Brighton year on year. It's almost sort of a reliance that there will be three worse teams in the league than you. They're always basically where they are this season, 15th, 16th. But actually, I have to say, they have given some teams a good game this year. It's not a team that I would particularly want to play for as a striker. Very, very difficult job. But, you know, it's a success, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Okay, so those are our other two commentary games. And a reminder earlier, Watford 2, Newcastle 1, 2 Troy Deeney penalties. So the Hornets all but safe, you've got to say now, after coming from behind. And Norwich officially relegated. 4 goals, all from Mikel Antonio. West Ham win that 4-0 at Carrow Road. They are all but safe as well. At TalkSport Live, got tons more tweets flooding in. Thank you for that. But it's the second half next up. Liverpool Burnley on Premier League Live.
We all want to stay safe and protect each other from coronavirus. We do this by cleaning our hands, social distancing and covering sneezes and coughs. We can also do this by wearing a face covering. Face coverings help prevent people who don't know they have the virus from spreading it to others. They should be worn anywhere it's difficult to stay 2 meters apart, like shops or public transport, or when visiting anyone who's more at risk. Wear a face covering. Stay safe. Protect each other. See hse.ie for more.
When the day arrives for you to scrap your old car, help will be at hand. With Elves, the go-to place for car recycling, the process is easy. First, visit elves.ie to find a recycling facility near you. Next, drop your car off or have it collected. Finally, receive your certificate of destruction, ending your responsibility for the vehicle. And that's it. It really is that simple. You've done your bit for the environment and for your own peace of mind. For more information, visit elves.ie.
The Burke family saves €365 with the big summer save at Lidl. And you can make big savings of your own with our delicious ready-made mixed bean salad for just $1.49. There's our handy spinach, watercress and rocket salad packs at an incredible $1.29. And 250 grams of juicy Irish strawberries for only $2.49. Start your big summer save at Lidl.ie. Lidl, more for you. The Burke shop between May 21st and June 8th and received a gratuity for participation.
From teaching them how to ride a bike to brushing their teeth, life lessons really matter. Teaching kids about money is one of the most important. That's where Ulster Bank's Money Sense can help. An online hub with free interactive content to help kids aged 5 to 18 make sense of money. It also has great tips for parents on how to equip their kids with positive money skills that can last a lifetime. Search Ulster Bank Money Sense today. Ulster Bank. Help for what matters. Ulster Bank Ireland DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
You know that feeling you get when you sense a team's winning streak is about to end? Or when you know the pundits are getting it all wrong? That feeling? That's me. I'm your hunch. I was there back in Istanbul when you just knew the comeback was on. I'm the guy that tells you when the odds don't look so odd. I'm your hunch. It's time to start listening.
Heed your hunch with Betway. Download the app to find out more about Betway's Bet Club. Full terms apply. 18 plus Dunlewy.net. Bet the responsible way.
Switch to 3, bill pay today, and get a top-of-the-range smartphone for the guilt-free price of just $9.99. Choose from the amazing iPhone XR, iPhone SE, or the Samsung S10e. All plans come with all-you-can-eat data with no usage limits, so you can stream, download, and connect to your heart's content. Switch in store or at 3.ie. 3. Make it count. From €45 a month, direct debit and 24-month minimum term applies. All you can eat data, ROI only. See 3.ie.
Players back out in front of us. I'm Russell Hargreaves on TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Burnley at Anfield, alongside the former Stoke, Portsmouth and Reading striker Dave Kitson. It's Premier League Live, and we're about to get underway for the second 45 minutes. The sun continues to shine down. Liverpool a goal to the good at the break, courtesy of that lovely header from Andy Robertson, and it could easily be way more, but for two quite stunning staves from Nick Pope. One to deny Sadio Mane and one to deny Mo Salah. I'm just wondering if we're about to get a half-time substitution or not. Beneath our vantage point, we can't quite make it out. There's a bit of a conversation going on between the officials. I think the answer is no. We are going to be unchanged, Dave, I think, for the second 45 minutes. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I think more in terms of the way the game pans out, more of the same. Liverpool by far and away the most dominant team, but Burnley, they've not been without their chances, have they? Rodriguez, on another day, he finds the back of the net. As it was, he found the far touchline for a throw into Liverpool, bizarrely, but
a rugby clearance, wasn't it, out to touch?
It was quite strange, but there, and also they've had I think 4 or 5 corners, which is pretty good at Anfield, and they look dangerous from every single one of them.
Burnley have just won the first free kick of the second half, so they're now attacking from right to left from our vantage point here on Premier League Live in their all light blue changed kit. Liverpool in their traditional all red are going to be going from left to right in the second half, and it's another foul from the youngster Nico Williams, and with 3 other players around Dwight McNeil, wasn't necessarily a foul he needed to commit, was it?
No, gives the ball away and then is quite impetuous to get the ball back, and with McNeil's
Brownhill's right foot or McNeil's left, in the end it's Westwood who takes it. The free kick routine swung in, but Ashley Westwood didn't really quite get enough on that in-swinging delivery, and Liverpool were able to get it to safety. Sometimes you can kind of overcook the preparation, you get a bit too clever for yourselves, can't you?
Yeah, I understand them trying to whip that in, but the only way that kind of in-swinging free kick works is if it's in the air and somebody can get the first touch on it, and then you're asking questions, but along the floor, very, very difficult.
46 and a half gone. Great to have your company around the world on Premier League Live. We value and very much respect bringing you the Premier League, at this rate, twice a week. It's a busy old run with match weeks coming left, right and centre. 3 more rounds after this as Liverpool look for their second. Of course, the champions of English football finally in the Premier League era this season, as confirmed 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so far, certainly good value for their 1-goal lead. I think they'll be frustrated they've not got a second. Burnley are still in there. There was a big ball over the top looking for Mohamed Salah. He couldn't quite get there, but it was at the expense of another corner. Flicked out, safety first from the Burnley defence. And young Nico Williams will take this one. Wearing 76 signifies that it's going to be a high delivery, which it is. But that one straight down the throat of Nick Pope. I think it may have even gone out of play as well. So again, that's not going to do the kid's confidence a world of good, is it?
No, but I mean, to put him on the set pieces in
True.
the first instance is obviously shows the faith that Klopp has in him, and this is how you learn. If you don't take one, you're never going to get it right.
So Liverpool, just to run through the team, it's Alisson in goal, Williams, Robertson the goal scorer, Gomez and Van Dijk the skipper at the back, Wijnaldum, Fabinho and young Curtis Jones in midfield, Mane, Firmino and Salah up front. And the bench, as and when needed, is Adrian, Dejan Lovren, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Takumi Minamino, Xherdan Shaqiri, Divock Origi, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Harvey Elliott, the youngster of course who was signed from Fulham, and it's another player full of great talent and promise. Liverpool on the attack through Wijnaldum. And a good start to the game, faded a little, but he does well there to find Firmino. Now to Sadio Mane, who I think still can't believe that he didn't score on the stroke of half-time. Ball given away, here come Liverpool again. Will this be the second? It rattles off the upright and stays out. Great through ball to Firmino, who just tried to guide it, ghost it into the corner, beat Pope, hit the woodwork and stayed out.
Oh, well, a great goalkeeper once told me that the miss-hits always go in, but it didn't there. Firmino doesn't get enough on that. It's a fabulous through ball. It catches everybody off guard. But he scuffs the shot on his left foot, Firmino, and it's the inside of the post and away.
Weirdly, to back your point though, because it was a miss hit, it actually therefore got past Pope. If it had been purely struck, Pope would have somehow clawed it gazelle-like out of the corner.
I think he would have. I mean, to be honest, it's quite a bad miss because he is one-on-one. He just mishits the ball.
It was a nice through ball. Sadio Mane was key in the build-up there. Salah got a touch as well. And Firmino, as the front three combined, really should have made it 2. It's another missed chance for Liverpool. 1-0 up after 49 minutes here on Premier League Live. Will it ultimately cost them or not? You suspect not, but you never know. Curtis Jones with a probing through ball this time. Salah keeps the ball in play. Edge of the penalty area. On the dead ball line. Whips it in looking for Firmino. Half clear, but only as far as Curtis Jones again. Now to Wijnaldum. He's under pressure and is forced to go back to young Nico Williams. Burnley push Liverpool back by about 6 or 7 yards, but still this red onslaught continues. Coming forward, Jurgen Klopp's team in droves 5 minutes into the second half. Here's Nico Williams, the youngster again, on this near side to the edge of the area to Wijnaldum. He's up against McNeil. Plays a clever ball that James Tarkowski heads half clear. Chris Wood can't complete the process under pressure though, and Curtis Jones picks it up again. Edge of the D, driving forward, plays a 1-2 with Firmino. And Firmino is just slipping as he tried to slide the return pass back to the youngster. Net result is it's back into the gloves of Nick Pope.
That's really good play actually from Jones. He does look a player, this boy. He's having a growing influence on the game, getting the ball further up the pitch where he can do his damage and finding some nice positions to slide balls through.
Burnley have won it back on halfway though through Dwight McNeil up against Gini Wijnaldum. Charlie Taylor left-footed over the top looking for Chris Wood. Joe Gomez gets there and keeps the ball in play as well. Finds Nico Williams. That'll do Nico Williams' confidence a world of good. He was under pressure. He stood tall and turned nicely and beat his man and got the ball downfield. It stems another Liverpool counter-attack. Salah to Jones! So close, Curtis Jones, to another goal. Red-hot youngster let fly with his left boot, just wide of Pope's right-hand post.
Well, that's what we were saying, because he wins the ball back initially, gets it to Salah and then goes beyond, and Salah slides him in, and it's a really, really powerful shot. If that's on target, I don't think Pope is stopping it. Edge of the box, just wide of the post.
Yeah, decent effort. It ends up in an array of huge banners and Liverpool flags that they've amassed at the Kop end behind the goal, of course, with there being no fans during Project Restart. The fan walls at the other end, and a very, very colourful array of banners, and it just nestled into those. It almost nicked the side netting as it then ricocheted and ended up behind the goal from Curtis Jones. We stay, thanks to Andy Robertson's header in the first half. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Sadio Mane on halfway. Was he fouled? The answer is no. Very robust challenge from Ashley Westwood. As we know, Sean Dyche's teams like to get stuck in. Westwood there, legally so, up against Mane. Inside the centre circle, Liverpool just patiently building once more through their captain, now that Jordan Henderson is out injured, Virgil van Dijk. Jones, he's having a great game, he really is. 1-2 with Firmino, his teammates trust him. 1-2 with Robertson, 1-2 with Mane. This is glorious champagne football. Firmino tries to dig the ball out from under his feet on the edge of the penalty area. Burnley get men back. In the end they get it clear. Liverpool probably 1-2 too many there, but the first part of that build-up was sensational.
Yeah, it's Jones again. Like I say, the influence that he's having is growing.
Playing very well indeed, and increasingly prevalent figure in this game, and being increasingly trusted by his star-studded multi-million pound teammates, which is a promising sign. Liverpool building patiently from the back. They've won all 17 home Premier League games this season. They've actually won their last 24 home Premier League games. Last time they didn't claim 3 points in the league at Anfield was a 1-1 draw with Leicester in January of last year, of 2019. Mightily impressive. But Mane gives the ball away. That wasn't so impressive. Burnley can try and counter-attack through Dwight McNeil. Beats one player, can't beat a second, and that's back-to-back good bits of defending from Nico Williams. Good clearance before, and nice tracking back and tackle there from the young man.
Yeah, it's a hallmark really of full-back play at Liverpool, that if you do get caught up the pitch, they are so quick that they can catch almost anybody going the other way, which allows Van Dijk and Gomez to stay in their holes and not get dragged out.
Liverpool, by the way, bidding to equal the Premier League record for home wins in a single season. That's 18. This would be their 18th. Burnley forced back as far as Kevin Long, the Irishman, who, whenever he comes back into the Burnley team as part of either a back three or a back four, always seems to do a very sterling job. He guides the ball back to his goalkeeper Nick Pope. Downfield, trying to find Chris Wood. Again, Nico Williams gets there. Tough tackle, good tackle from Brownhill to free McNeil. Here's Jay Rodriguez, curling effort on target, but straight into the midriff of Alisson, who makes the save. Better from Burnley.
Yeah, Brownhill wins it. it's a good tackle, a fair tackle. He gets the ball through to McNeil, who slides it back across. I think it just sort of gets caught under Rodriguez's foot, because you can see what he's trying to bend it in that far corner, but he can't get enough purchase on it because it's just caught under his feet. But it's a good sign for Burnley, winning the ball back high up the pitch.
Quite impressed with what I've seen of Josh Brownhill. Not seen a lot of him because obviously he signed from Bristol City and has then eased his way into the team as time has progressed and injuries have happened around him. He looks quite comfortable at this level, I'd say.
He certainly doesn't look out of place, actually. He's a growing influence along with Westwood. They seem to know each other's games very well.
Promising stuff as Liverpool are under a tiny bit of pressure on the far side. Wood just trying to get all over the back of Joe Gomez. In the end, the referee's assistant waves his flag for a foul, and Gomez just got himself into the perfect position there to stop Wood trying to nick the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did very well, actually, and that's the problem with having Chris Wood, as you like, as the furthest most forward.
All over the top, early delivery, excellent clearance from James Tarkowski, the Burnley captain. No Ben Mee, remember, at the moment. Tarkowski and Long, the central defensive partnership. They've done largely well, and Tarkowski had to read that well. Two hungry Liverpool players on his shoulder. Here's another hungry youngster in Nico Williams, who meanders his way through two Burnley tackles. The third is too much. The Clarets win it back, smack it downfield. Nice interplay on this occasion between the strikers, Rodriguez and Wood. Rodriguez then picks the ball forward up, cuts inside Fabinho. Much better from Sean Dyche's team, who went close a few minutes ago and are putting together a nice promising move once more. Here's the Scot Phil Bardsley on the far side. Infield, Westwood's delivery is a good one to Rodriguez. Super save from Allison. Not sure if the whistle has gone for offside. It has, but a lovely in-swinging delivery and a great full-length header from Rodriguez. Denied in the end by a combination of the keeper and the assistant's flag, but that was much better.
Yeah, it's actually a really good line from Liverpool at the back. Allison doesn't know that he's offside. He has to make the save, and he does it pretty well. But as soon as that ball goes back for the cross, that Liverpool back four get out. They catch three of them offside. But it's promising signs from Burnley, some nice interplay.
First time we've seen the Burnley fan wall there, and most of them all in their claret and blue getting quite excited at that, apart from one bloke who was sitting there looking the other way, picking his nose.
I don't think you could believe it, to be honest, that they'd gone over the halfway line. But actually, do you know, Burnley really haven't been that bad in this game.
They haven't at all. Sadio Mane on the counter, though, for Liverpool to try and put Burnley back into their place after their impudence of creating a couple of chances there. Overhit in the end from Mane, but Liverpool do keep the attack going. It's about midway inside the Burnley half on this near stand side, and we stay 57 minutes in. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Great turn from the goal scorer Andy Robertson there. Plays a 1-2 with Wijnaldum, left footed from the Scot. Of course, he's the Scottish international captain among his many other accolades these days. Andy Robertson as well. He's got the ball again. Tight angle on the far side, just keeping it in play beyond the touchline. Wins the throw, finds Fabinho. Now to Sadio Mane. Mane! Just wide again from Sadio Mane. Denied in the first half by that brilliant save from Pope. Low effort this time, which fizzes wide of Pope's left-hand post.
It's just such a privilege to watch Mane. It really, I mean, it's a bit of a swinger in the end, but his speed of feet, him and Salah and Firmino, that's really is the hallmark of that front three. For as good as they are and as skillful, the speed from a standing start, and indeed when they've got the ball at their feet, it must be so difficult to have to mark these guys.
Liverpool's record at home, by the way, in the Premier League, played 57, won 57, drawn 47, incredible. Their record is just absolutely stunning. So yeah, 47 wins, 10 draws out of 57 games.
That's incredible, it really is.
Wow, they are absolutely stunning. And in that time, they've scored 149 goals and only conceded 32.
Wow, that is astonishing. I mean, you're watching a good team, but actually having the stats read out to you like that, you really appreciate just what a machine this Liverpool team is.
And that machine rumbles on. Dave Kitson looking for the second goal to try and make this game safe. In the end, Curtis Jones is upended by Josh Brownhill, who got stuck in. Not an awful lot wrong with it, but just got a little bit of the man as well as he tried to win the ball. Liverpool have the free kick. And the ball is smacked downfield. 58 played. The Reds continuing to lead Burnley by 1-0 here on Premier League Live. If you missed it earlier, Watford and West Ham, giant steps towards safety. The Hornets coming from behind with 2 Troy Deeney penalties to beat Newcastle 2-1. And West Ham 4-0 winners at Norwich. All 4 goals coming from Mikel Antonio. And Norwich, their relegation back to the Championship confirmed. Do you think we'll see Daniel Farke's men again or not?
It's a funny one, actually. I think we'll see Daniel Farke again, certainly. Whether he's with Norwich, I'm not sure.
Still very popular there, isn't he, despite what's happened? I mean, there's been so many injuries, haven't there? We shouldn't forget that. And they haven't spent much money.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't long ago that they managed to beat Man City with 8 first-team players missing.
I remember
that takes some game. Yeah, I mean, but just recently, actually, in the last couple of seasons, we have seen a reluctance of teams to panic when they go down. Because they know they've got the right man, like Wagner at Huddersfield, for example, Warnock at Cardiff. Okay, They did make changes at the end.
I was going to say the Wagner one didn't go so well in the Championship.
Not really, no. But it's certainly, I think there's been a bit of a sea change with that.
Deflected effort from distance from Fabinho behind. Just wondering if it nicked off a Burnley or a Liverpool boot. Let's take another look. Mane found him. Nice play from Nico Williams again, who is growing in stature in this game. And it did nick off a Burnley player, so it will be a corner. Exactly an hour gone. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Robertson with another clever little short routine with Wijnaldum. Takes another deflection and goes behind for another Reds corner kick. Certainly been racking them up over the course of the game, but still just the 1 goal so far scored by the man who's about to take this one. Andy Robertson again signalling a high delivery from the far right hand corner. Outswinger, it's a good one, looking for Mane. Long was up there again. Kevin Long just again quietly doing some stout defensive work, Dave.
Yeah, it does let us want to go back to saying that's the hallmark of the Burnley team, that you have an injured player or a suspended player, somebody comes back in and it's business as usual for Burnley.
Good assessment. Liverpool get it back again. Robertson, low delivery. What did that nick off? Half-hearted appeals maybe for a free kick on the edge of the box. As it was, I think it just struck the body and went behind. Mane tried to pick up the pieces, couldn't quite do so, but it is another corner to Liverpool Football Club, and this is a better spell, but we're just not quite seeing that trademark incision at the moment, are we?
Just missing that final pass. I mean, we've seen it, but actually Burnley have been quite well set when it's come.
They have. Robertson will take this one as well. Flatter delivery this time, looking for Roberto Firmino, and it's Josh Brownhill continuing his good game. Only half clear though. They should have done better. The ball ricocheted off Gomez to Salah. Salah suddenly was about 10 yards out, unmarked, and skewed it high and wide. What a chance. I just don't think the Egyptian was expecting it, was he?
No, and Jurgen Klopp isn't laughing at that one, because this is a great chance for a man of Salah's capabilities. It does come to him pretty quickly, to be fair. He's not expecting it because it comes to him via a deflection. But even so, you'd like to think he'd get it on target.
What also means it's worse is that Nick Pope for once had slipped, so Pope was actually on his backside, and he's so hard to beat when he's standing up.
Yeah.
That made it all the more of a good chance, the fact the keeper was prone.
Yeah, he dived to the right, and as a result, he's stranded and out of the game, and he's left pretty much 2/3 of the goal open for Salah to aim at, but it's high and not very handsome into the cop.
Not that Nick Pope did anything wrong there, he was just trying to save the first shot that never got there because it cannoned and ricocheted back to Mo Salah. I think we can safely say Nick Pope, though, has earned that little bit of fortune after a sensational game so far. Rodriguez to McNeil on the overlap. Good football from Burnley. They cut 2 Liverpool defenders out of the game very quickly there. And Dave, here's a good example of Virgil van Dijk's leadership. He's now shouting at his teammates about what they did wrong there to free up that gap for the away side.
Yeah, and I go back as well to what I was saying, that when one of these fullbacks does get beaten, they're so quick. And Fabinho as well, the importance of Fabinho, who plays in that hole there in front of the back to the centre-half pairing, but is always there or thereabouts as emergency cover. But when they do get beat, it means that Van Dijk and Gomez are always set in their holes in the box. We saw a good example of it there.
I think we're about to see our first sub of the game finally. During Project Restart, we've had about 8 subs by now normally, 63 minutes in. But it's going to be Johan Gudmundsson, the Icelandic midfielder. He's going to be coming on in a moment for Burnley. We'll tell you for whom in a second, but he's just taken his training bib off and put on his number 7 Burnley shirt. Good player. Player who was a mainstay for part of the season, but has just fallen out of the starting 11 at the moment, going back to that competition for places that Dave mentioned. 63 gone. Still, Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. Liverpool currently on 92 points from 34 games. Of course, it's a 38-game season. They would love to get beyond 100, beat Man City's Premier League record. And could Mo Salah finally get his 20th of the season again? He goes over the top. Tarkowski, has he brought him down? Referee says no. Tarkowski looks painfully to the heavens. Salah wants a penalty. Nobody else is having any of it. What did you make of that, Dave?
Well, it goes over Tarkowski's shoulder and he's in trouble for a second and he knows it and he puts his arm across Salah. I have to say, I think he's pretty decent defending. There certainly isn't enough in it for me to give a penalty.
Let's have a look at the replay. So Salah chests it down.
He does have an arm over his shoulder, but I just don't think it's enough. And even if Salah does take this down perfectly, Pope is right on the spot to collect this.
And also Tarkowski is kind of partially goal side, isn't he? So Mo is turning into his man. It's not like Tarkowski is bringing him down as he goes away from goal, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I can understand why Salah's asked for it. You know, you have to as a forward, but to me, I think that's pretty fair defending.
The man who comes off, by the way, for Johan Gudmundsson is the Dutch midfielder come defender Eric Pieters, who has put in a stout day's work. And the other replacement, his first start for a while after injury, Chris Wood, the Kiwi, goes off. On comes the Czech striker, formerly of the likes of Derby, of course, Matej Vydra. And he did score a week or so ago and certainly knows where the goal is, Matej Vydra. Come back to him in a second as Liverpool go for their second. Firmino twisting and turning, edge of the penalty area, up against a combination of Westwood and Brownhill. Beats one, can't beat the second. Good collective defending from the two Burnley centre midfielders. And in the end, Burnley do earn the right to work the ball clear through. Ashley Westwood, who did well. Vydra, wearing 27, has just slipped. That's his first contribution after coming on. But he's a decent player. Perhaps, again, not the most all-round gifted player, but he can score you a goal or two, can't he?
He can nick a goal. We know that. And he's proved it this season on a couple of occasions. And he might ask a few more questions, actually, of Gomez in behind, which Chris Wood couldn't really do.
Yep, so it is a slightly more mobile combination, as Dave's alluded to there, of Vydra alongside Jay Rodriguez for the final 25-30 minutes of this game. Poor pass given away by Tarkowski. That's a rarity. Ball over the top. Liverpool right back in here. Firmino to the youngster Williams, who lets fly. Powerful effort. Whacks off the backside of, I think it may well have been Tarkowski, atoning partially for the error and behind for a corner.
It's a good ball initially, taken down well from Firmino, who lays it off to Williams. And actually, Williams is getting more and more into this game. He's taken up some really, really good positions.
Fair play to him. By the way, some Liverpool subs pending as well. We're going to see the two youngsters come off, actually, Nico Williams and Curtis Jones, and we're about to see Naby Keita and Trent Alexander-Arnold come on after this corner. Robertson will take it. In-swinger from the near side. Virgil van Dijk was up there. And Nick Pope's wonderful game continues as he claims that against the big Dutchman very easily indeed. And yet Keita and Alexander-Arnold are ready to come on, and at only 1-0, game not secure yet. Makes sense for you, Dave, to bring on some more big guns?
I think so, certainly when they've just made the change, Burnley, in bringing Wood off and Vydra on. Clearly Sean Dyche wants something out of this game. He hasn't given up on that European berth just yet. And Liverpool, they certainly haven't put this game to bed, and they're going to try to here with two established first-team players.
Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. Here's a good question. Adamola Ipadiola says Liverpool's success in the EPL, it's great, but how much of it is due to the inconsistency of their should-be challengers? What's your thought on that as we head into the drinks break?
Well, I think Man City especially have thrown away games this season that are very unlike them.
10 defeats is unheard of. It's literally unheard of for a Pep Guardiola team anywhere in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it is a little bit bizarre. I don't know whether they've got a championship hangover maybe or something like that, or whether that pressure of performing in the Champions League is just starting to affect the league form. Whatever the reason is, they certainly haven't been the Man City that we're used to. I'd never, you can't ever denigrate what Liverpool have achieved. It's phenomenal. You don't forget they were Champions League holders this season going into it. They've won the league this season. They are by far and away the best team in this country and possibly in Europe.
There's the Obi Martin. Good afternoon, guys listening in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. I think Liverpool will take it 3-0 by the end, and I can't wait for Sheffield Chelsea either. He says up Manchester United. So as the Obi, I'm sure, is hoping for a Blades win in the Steel City. Kingsley, good day, guys. Enjoying your mighty commentary. Very kind. From my phone. And I'm looking forward to welcoming Leeds, West Brom and Brentford into the biggest boys in the league. That's Kingsley in Port Harcourt. I think Leeds and West Brom for sure. Whether it's Brentford or Fulham, Dave, or someone else who nicks it on the reins via the playoffs, that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, Brentford, 7 wins I think it is now in a row. I went past their new stadium the other day and that looks fantastic.
I live
as
just
well.
down the road from it. It's very nice.
Looks really, really
and
nice.
London Irish will be there in the rugger as well. Very good combo. You know all about that from your Reading days.
I do, yeah. We used to have them at the Medeski Stadium.
Well, they've technically just left actually this week, which is a bit of a problem because the season hasn't finished. They actually have shot from distance. Oh, and it's into the corner from nowhere from Jay Rodriguez. We thought that this game might not be dead. Liverpool bring on the big guns, and crikey, they'll need to fire because Burnley are level, and it's Jay Rodriguez with his 11th of the season. Low shot into the corner, past Alisson in a flash. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1, game on.
Well, this is what Jay Rodriguez can do when the ball is at his feet. It's a long, hopeful ball, and for the first time, Liverpool don't deal with this. It's an overload on the far post. Tarkowski wins the header, lays it down to the edge of the box. Liverpool players are running towards their own goal. Nobody picks up Jay Rodriguez. It's Van Dijk trying to get to him. He turns his back, and Alisson has got no chance. And I have to say, that is just desserts for Burnley, because they have been in this game from the first whistle.
I hate to say it though, it's gone to VAR for a possible offside, and it's in the build-up. It's when Tarkowski heads it across. Westwood's up there as well. Was one of them interfering with play and in an offside position. It's certainly not Jay Rodriguez. His finish is excellent, no question. Will this goal stand?
I think he's given it.
He's given it. Yep. It does stand, thank goodness, but we had to check because there was a possibility that one of their heels was ahead of the last Liverpool defender. I don't say we like it, Dave, but rules are the rules.
Yeah, look, they checked it, it's onside, and that's it.
And it was quick. Do you know what? Thank goodness that was quick. We didn't spend 5 minutes bumbling around trying to see whether it's a goal or not, and ultimately the good open play on the field and the goal actually stood and is there with the merit that it deserves. That's the other thing, isn't it, when that kind of thing gets chalked off by a minutiae that seems to get everybody's goat up.
Yeah, but I think, you know, the effort that Burnley have contributed to this game deserves some kind of a reward for them, and they've got it. With 20 minutes left, it's a big point for Burnley if they can hold on.
And it also just pokes the bear with Liverpool. We mentioned the big guns coming on. One of them is Naby Keita, who plays it infield to Mane, ball over the top. Nice touch from the other, Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he can't bring the ball down as it flies over his right shoulder, tries to take it first time. And all he can do is guide it over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. So, yeah, interesting. The two new faces come on to try and make the game safe and see it through with another goal. And the exact opposite happens. Not a direct relevance, I get you, but it's not perhaps the twist and the tweak to proceedings that Jurgen Klopp would have expected.
No, but I mean, double substitution, they do say you're susceptible on two occasions. Once after you've just conceded a goal, and the other one when you make a sub because people are still trying to readjust. And certainly there, and to do it as well when Burnley have got a set piece to launch it forward. You know the ball's going to go to Tarkowski. I was quite surprised actually that it was Van Dijk who wasn't marking. It was actually Fabinho, and he's well beaten in the air at the back post.
Header downfield, powerfully done from Josh Brownhill. Goes out for a Liverpool throw. 71 gone, Liverpool 1, Burnley 1, and all of a sudden the home team, if they're going to get another win and continue this ruthless assault the champions on this bid for 100 plus points, need to pull their finger out, otherwise that third straight win will not be coming, and that 25th straight home Premier League win won't be coming either. In fact, they've got to defend here once more. Ball over the top, looking for Matej Vydra. And a mixture of Van Dijk and Alisson, the two expensive players, two of the most expensive ever in their positions, eventually do enough to get it away from the check and downfield. Robertson to Sadio Mane, who's running at Bardsley. Infield, it's behind the on-rushing Liverpool forwards, but there's misunderstanding in the Burnley midfield there, and McNeil lets the ball run. Shot from distance, fisted away. Save from Pope. Alexander-Arnold strike, sweetly struck. Burnley, for whatever reason, just gave that away when they didn't need to.
Yeah, Brownhill will be a relieved man because it's him who gives it away. This ball comes back. He just goes to pass it to Westwood next to him. And Westwood just does it. He's not expecting it at all. It falls to Alexander-Arnold. He hits that really, really well. Pope taking no chances, punching the ball back out. Mane's offside, but Liverpool just cranking up the pressure a little bit.
Ian Maker says Liverpool deserve to be champions. The way they move the ball from one end of the pitch to the other is top notch. I agree.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair point, despite, as we've talked about already, the perceived failings and frailties of some of their title challenges this season. Marvin, watching in Ghana, rallying behind Nick Pope. He says for the Golden Globes he thinks he should be considered. Shot from distance is saved from Pope. Do you know what, Marvin? That's a great tweet. He's got the TV on, but he's listening to us. Good shout, my friend. Why not give him a Golden Globe?
That's a great tweet.
Jeffrey Sampson, I'm tweeting from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. You guys are doing great. I put Trent in my fantasy league this week, though, so I'm disappointed he's only on the bench. Jeffrey, since you just sent that, though, of course he's come on, so who knows if Trent might get you something off the bench yet. We shall wait and see. Player down, who's just received a little blow to the face. Let's have a little look. It's Wijnaldum, who's up against Westwood. Not much in that. They're just grappling for the ball in the air, aren't they?
Yeah, Westwood puts his arm over the shoulder, and in doing so he kind of just nicks Wijnaldum's cheek, I think, but he's okay, back up, and Liverpool have got a free kick.
Joe Gomez will take it. Long delivery. Sadio Mane on the edge of the penalty area. Well shackled by the Irishman Kevin Long again, who just does everything that's required of him. Stands his ground. Heads it clear to Phil Bardsley. His ball downfield. Looks for Matej Vydra. Under pressure from Van Dijk, who wins it back. Pumps it downfield. Bardsley reacts, coming infield again and wins it for Burnley. Here they are. Is that a foul from Alexander-Arnold? It was. Bit of frustration as he tugs at the shirt of Josh Brownhill, and things are not going Liverpool's way at the moment. Is Jay Rodriguez onside? He is. Edge of the penalty area, running at Gomez. He's stretched as Liverpool's defenders come scurrying back in numbers. McNeil's delivery into the edge of the penalty area. Crikey, Burnley nearly got there. Liverpool are in a bit of trouble here, and Burnley stretching the Reds, not a million miles away from a second. That was excellent. Gudmundsson, the sub, the player who was only about a yard away. But Liverpool at the other end, counter-attack. Robertson over the top looking for Salah, overhits that. That trickles out of play. Wow, end-to-end stuff, and Johan Gudmundsson was not far away from connecting.
Yeah, and that's as ragged as you will see Liverpool, and certainly as ragged as I've seen them over the last couple of years. It's a ball down the side, and two players are played onside. The ball comes back from McNeil on that left foot, and it's a despairing lunge to get it away in the end, and Gudmundsson was coming onto it.
Just looking at the replay there of the goal, Jay Rodriguez, that came out of almost nothing. It appeared that the ball had been cleared from the initial set piece, and then just first time striking it into the corner and beating that combination of, best part of, not far off, £200 million of talent with the combination of Van Dijk and Alisson as centre half and keeper. To beat them all ends up like that was excellent work from Jay Rodriguez. His goal equalising out Andy Robertson's header. Here is Robertson at the other end. Poor pass. And you know what? Since Robertson scored, he's actually gone a bit wonky, hasn't he, weirdly? He's gone the other way in the game.
His end product isn't in, and Burnley are in here.
They are in here. Here's Matej Vydra, can't quite get there. And we talk about Alisson's reading of the game. He came straight to the edge of the D, did Alisson, and booted it to safety. If he'd stayed on his line there, Vydra would have been in.
Yeah, Burnley are growing into this. I think they fancy themselves to nick this. Liverpool just, for whatever reason, a bit, and like you say about Andy Robertson as well, I mean, his end product since the goal hasn't been there at all. And it's actually Burnley look the more likely to get something. Liverpool look as ragged in this last 10 minutes at the back as I've ever seen them.
Another Burnley throw, midway inside the Liverpool half. Putt for Doe is listening in Omaha, Nebraska. He says, my great-grandfather Alf Hansen once played for Liverpool, so go you Reds, you'll never walk alone. Well and good, but may not be the 3 points, my friend, for you today. Also a nice tweet from Paddy Fields coming all the way from Lujiang in China, just echoing our sentiments from earlier in the commentary about Jack Charlton. May he rest in peace. And we completely agree with that. A very good point, well made. He is never far from our thoughts on this day. Naby Keita for Liverpool, bringing it forward, but he's dispossessed by his opposing number 8, Josh Brownhill, whose fine game continues. Back to his keeper, Nick Pope, who's been even better in this match. Pope downfield, controlled nicely on the half volley, not the easiest for Gudmundsson, but he gets there, finds Long. Now to Rodriguez, and there's confidence, there's silky interplay, there's cohesion about Burnley all of a sudden. They played well and clung on at times in the game for about the first hour, but we're really seeing them purr and grow now.
Yeah, I think any neutral wouldn't begrudge Burnley a point if they can hold on to it. They've contributed to this game every bit as much as Liverpool have.
Miracle Sampson has tweeted in, hoping that Liverpool can keep it up. They might, my friend, need your namesake a miracle at this point. They really have been poor the last few minutes, but we know they've got all the talent, all the ability in the world. to open this game in the blink of an eye. Alexander-Arnold to Salah, who tries to guide it through to Firmino, but once again Tarkowski reads it nicely, the Burnley captain, and brings it downfield. His clearance can't find Jay Rodriguez. Liverpool come again, about midway inside the Burnley half. Van Dijk's options are limited, so he goes back to his fellow centre-half Gomez, to Keita. Keita brings it forward, chested down by Firmino but poorly. Clunky control from the Brazilian, and Burnley get it clear again through Vidra. To McNeil, just inside his own half. Liverpool 85% passing accuracy and nearly 3 times as many passes as Burnley during the game, but as you well know, Dave, there's more than one way to skin a cat, isn't there? In Burnley's game plan, they've not had a lot of the ball, but what they've done with it and the way that they've positioned themselves without it, it's been a really nice kind of double tactic.
Yeah, there has. It's been the counter. And certainly down the left-hand side as well. That's a noticeable tactic. They played on Williams, the young man, right from the start in this game, and it almost paid dividends for them. And the other one, obviously, is set pieces. And that's where the goal came from.
Took Mike Cox 15 minutes to get his radio to work, to listen to us and get us synced into the TV. He says, I've got it close enough and it's been well worth it so far. Also pleased to hear a Bristol City mention, because that's his team. Yeah, of course, that's referring to where Josh Brownhill came from.
Yeah.
Mike, not a problem. He says, keep up the good work, fellas. We will do so. Prince Henry Cafidja says, game on. And he's convinced that 1-1 will be the final score as Joe Gomez goes into the book.
Yeah, another foul. He gets caught on the ball, actually, and he has to foul because he's the last man. And here comes another one of those free kicks.
Free kick will be taken by the former Manchester United youngster back in the day, Phil Bardsley, via Sunderland to Burnley. Over the top, overhit. Tarkowski can't get there, and a rare example of Burnley wasting a nice platform.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's not far away, actually. Tarkowski gets the run on his man, and he's free if the ball is better.
Nice counter-attack from Liverpool. Ball over the top from Alexander-Arnold. Salah lets it run. Can Mane get there? It's blustery actually up there, isn't it? Down at ground level it doesn't feel quite so much, but we really saw that one get caught on the breeze and blow out for a goal kick. Yeah,
Liverpool going to make a change here. Klopp desperate to win this, actually. He's cut a pretty frustrated figure on that touchline in the last 20 odd minutes.
Alexander-Arnold has already come on. The next man to come on is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So those two are Naby Keita, the 3 changes. The Ox had a fair bit of game time of late. A bit frustrated the other night when things didn't quite go his way, but he'd be very keen to make another impact off the bench. Such a talented player, the former Southampton and Arsenal man. He comes on, and it's Gini Wijnaldum who's the player to be sacrificed. Dave, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think the Ox is just a little bit more incisive, a little bit more direct, isn't he?
Yes.
Sacrificing that player in the midfield for somebody who can get on the ball, perhaps make something happen for them.
Yeah, surge with the ball at his feet and use that power, absolutely. Maybe not the passing skills of Wijnaldum or the ability to break up play, but absolutely a very direct player. We'll see what he can bring to the table in what is the final 10 minutes, and surprise, surprise on Premier League Live it remains. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. Rodriguez equaliser, cancelling out Robertson's header, which feels increasingly a long old time ago. Alexander-Arnold, lovely looking delivery. Long does very well to get there ahead of Bobby Firmino. Salah was buzzing around as well. Loose ball drops to the edge of the penalty area, where Robertson reacts first to collect it. First touch for the new man, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, is to pass it to fellow sub Trent Alexander-Arnold. Back to the Ox again, who miscontrols, and it's hammered downfield by Ashley Westwood, who's more than happy to give Burnley a breather. Nearly finds the goal scorer Rodriguez as well. Gomez gets there just ahead of the Burnley striker. End to end again. And Liverpool come surging downfield through the other sub, Naby Keita. Head up, little 1-2 with Mane. Offloads as far as Firmino. More good defending from Burnley on the far side, and by this. But they are back on the attack. 8 and a bit minutes to go. Plus time added on, and there should be a little bit of that as well. Alexander-Arnold looking for Sadio Mane on the far side. Again, Bardsley gets it half clear. Goodmanson's got to be careful. Did he bring Robertson down? He miscontrolled slightly the Icelander. Robertson came in at a rate of knots around his blind side. Referee had a good view and said play on. Liverpool unhappy, Robertson prone and incensed, and at the other end, Burnley counter-attack. Vidra is completely on his own. He's got 4 Liverpool players around him. And to his credit, he didn't get a shot in, but he somehow kept hold of the ball. Well done.
Yeah, no, he held the ball up really well. At the other end, do you know, I think there is just enough. We haven't seen a replay, but just enough on the ball in the tackle.
Hairy, wasn't it?
It really was.
Very, very hairy. Yeah. Would have been an absolute tragedy from Burnley's point of view in a footballing sense, had it all been undone by that. As it is, it wasn't, and it's Burnley back on the attack again. Oh, so close. Rodriguez finding Vidra, and Vidra ghosting in, and somehow Allison came charging out, dive low to his right, and plucked the ball from under the very boots of the Czech. Burnley inches away from poking that one in.
Honestly, it's not like a Liverpool that you're used to at the back. It's all over the place.
But at the other end, they're still incisive as Mane has a crack. Maybe slightly desperate there from Sadio Mane. There were options to pass. He pulled the trigger from well outside the area. It smacked the midriff of Bardsley. And now Tarkowski is more than happy to thump, and I mean thump, the ball downfield. Fair play.
Yeah, no point in chasing that one. Goes back to Allison and Liverpool start again. But
bit trigger happy from Mane there for you?
Little bit. But you know, I think he's still frustrated from the save that Pope made from him, which was absolutely world class. I think he feels he should at least have a...
Here's Alexander-Arnold, right-footed, ball over the top. Oh, Nick Pope comes, doesn't quite claim first time around, but second time he does. No one else to put him under pressure apart from Mane, and ended up just plucking the ball away from the striker first time around and claiming it second. Dave, we're getting a replay on the big screen, and yes, before he brings Robertson down, Goodmanson, as he slips and miscontrols, gets a sliver of a stud on the ball.
It is, and it literally is a grazing of his studs on the ball.
At the other end, here come the Reds. You can't take your eyes and your ears off this one, everybody around the world. Here's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain by the corner flag. Cuts in field to Salah, who's in a bit of space. Curling effort from Mo on target. But Nick Pope in this kind of form will eat that all day long and makes a comfortable save.
Yeah, it's that position that he loves, Salah, just to the right-hand side of the box, bringing the ball back onto his left foot to try and bend it in that far corner. We've seen him do it so many times, and he just doesn't get the required bend on it, and it's straight down Pope.
Goodmanson off the crossbar. It's still in play, and it's headed behind by Gomez for a corner. Goodmanson denied. My goodness, Burnley not just knocking at the door, they're trying to bust it wide open.
Oh, he's got to score. He's got to score because Allison is out of the game. He flaps at this cross for the 5th time in a match. They're asking questions of him. Clearly they feel he's a weakness from that corner, but it drops to Goodmanson off the bar. He has to put it in. He has to.
Even the unenthused Burnley fan in the fan wall has started picking his nose and is watching now. Even he's excited. They're all going for it. Look at Sean Dyche. Extravagant on the touchline. Corner bended in. Again fisted clear by Allison. That was better keeping that time. I'll go back to that breeze very quickly, David. I think that breeze is making it hard. It's no excuse, but it might be a tactic that there's Salah's down, beating the ground in, I thought, pain, but I think he's okay. It's more frustration. He's been upended. Yellow card for the Burnley player who brought him down, which is Bardsley.
Yeah, I think the referee's going to claim that Bardsley comes from the side here into Salah, which, you know, it used to be that tackle would be fine, but now we know you can't come through the back and you can't come round the side.
Yellow card to Phil Bardsley. But yeah, just back to that win for a second, it's certainly a tactic that they're trying to use to their advantage, isn't it?
Oh, it's plain and obvious to us here, yeah. I mean, I think that's the 5th corner that they've put slap bang onto Allison's head, and he hasn't dealt with any of them.
Dennis has tweeted in saying, I still want Liverpool to set a new Premier League points record. Motivating them since winning the league is clearly difficult from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. I'm just doing my sums. They could afford, I think, 1 draw to still do it. 92 at the moment. Hope for time wasting a second ago. It took a while to take that clearance, and quite frankly, who can blame him? Ball takes a ricochet. Oh, nearly in at the back there, Liverpool. It was Naby Keita who ghosted in, managed to just poke the cross in before he fell. Nick Pope claimed it nicely.
Yeah, those 1-2s, they're so dangerous, and Liverpool are so good at them in and around the area, and it is imperative as the covering player that you don't keep your eyes on the ball, you follow your man.
There will be 4 additional minutes, and we're into the first of those as we speak. Ashley Westwood has taken a knock to the ankle, and I think, Dave, he'd be foolish not to eke this one out a bit, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we've just seen the board going up. There's the confirmation, 4 minutes. It's Nick Pope who's got the ball in his hands, which is the safest place on the pitch.
Smacked downfield. What a game it's been for Nick Pope. Certainly a man of the match nominee, no question for those saves.
Yeah.
Oh, Fabinho gives it away. Matej Vidra does well. Burnley pick it back up midway inside the Liverpool half. 30 seconds of the first of the 4 additional minutes. Goodmanson has to go back as options ahead of him were limited. And Vidra's now gone down, holding his face. I think he just got inadvertently caught as he went for a little one-on-one. Nothing major. Ball trickles out of play for a throw. Wonder if we're going to get one more meaningful shot from either team in these final 3 minutes, Dave.
Well, I mean, I certainly would think so. As such as the game has gone so far. And the amount of chances that have been created has been unbelievable for both teams as well. Like I say, Burnley have been in this from the first whistle with a clear game plan, and it's always looked really effective, that it might yield something.
Van Dijk is the one more sting in the tail, I wonder. Ball over the top. Good run from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Can he keep it in? He's stretching every sinew, the England man. Answer is no. Kind of sums up Liverpool over the last hour of this game. Goes out of play for a goal kick. In Play Station says Liverpool have won 95% of their home games when they've scored first. Waiting for 90 plus 4 Mane in a scramble.
Well, he might get his wish.
You never know. Sammy, I don't think Liverpool will win from here. Burnley have been so difficult to play against, and he's backing your point about how they deserve another crack at Europe. That's Sammy from Port Harcourt in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, because that's the game, isn't it? You know, why be in it if it's not to get to the next level? And I think that European experience will, they'll have learned from that. They'll have the experience, they'll know how to cope with it.
Van Dijk, long ball over the top. Is this the moment for Liverpool? First time ball from Alexander-Arnold to Mo Salah! Oh, and Salah can't connect. Pope saves to his right. Decent save, but Mo Salah should have got more on that, surely.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what I've just lip-read from Jurgen Klopp, but suffice to say, he is not a happy man on that bench, because it comes to Salah, and it's almost a lackadaisical finish, isn't it? It's sort of it's more of a pass back. He's not going to beat Pope with that, but it's a great opportunity just to the right of the area, and he just does not connect with it.
What a chance, not taken. Don't forget, of course, this reverse fixture is when the whole Salah and Mane fallout happened, when Mane was subbed and went ballistic at the bench in anger that Mo had been greedy and not passed to him earlier. And in this game, there's been nothing quite like that. There was a frustrated misunderstanding between Salah and Firmino earlier. Mane involved too, and then just there Salah with a golden chance and a bit lackadaisical. He did not take it. It's the one more chance, I wonder. Another impressive run from Mane on the far side. Cross is headed half clear by Burnley. Liverpool pump it in once more. 1 minute of additional time to go. Edge of the 6-yard box. Firmino's up there. Salah's up there again. And Nick Pope makes the claim and then falls on the floor. He's got to be careful because he's already been booked once for time wasting, and he's just literally doing a random roly-poly on the floor here to buy a few more seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Have we ever seen a keeper given 2 yellows for time wasting and sent off?
I haven't, but I was just thinking, I'm not sure actually what the rule is these days in terms of, I mean, how long are they allowed to? Is it at the referee's discretion, or is there a...
It's theatrical at best, wasn't it, as Nick sat down there, but, you know, he's earned the right, I think, with what we both agree would be a man of the match display.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
10 seconds to go. Could Burnley get another westwards through ball, looking for Jay Rodriguez running the channel? And Joe Gomez just tracks the striker nicely, shepherds it out for a throw. Taken to Alisson, who controls it first time with his foot, doesn't miss control, passes it out, and that is the final play of the game. And Burnley have come from a goal down to get an incredible point at Anfield. Their record here was horrendous heading into this game. Liverpool have won all 17 at home this season. They've won their last 24 at home in the league, and that proud run comes to a shuddering halt. The Clarets, unbeaten in 5 now. They have been absolutely magnificent in the final hour of this game. Liverpool didn't take their chances. Nick Pope, exceptional with 2 world-beating saves to deny Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. Andy Robertson's deft header had put the Reds on their way, so we thought, to another win. But Burnley had other ideas, and a sumptuous strike from Jay Rodriguez earns them a richly deserved share of the spoils. Full-time at Anfield on Premier League Live. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. All the way to Virgil van Dijk, well beyond the far post, who controls it beautifully. The, of course, World Player of the Year nominee, header into the corner. It's an absolute beauty from Andy Robertson back into the team. He's such an all-round player, this talented Scot, and it's a glorious bullet header into the corner. No chance for Nick Pope, and Liverpool, having huffed and puffed, finally take the lead. It's Liverpool 1, Burnley 0.
Oh, it's a fabulous header from Robertson. I saw him make the run from the right flank, and you're asking then, can Fabinho pick him out because he's over on the far right-hand side, completely unmarked? It goes back to what we were saying, players popping up in positions where you don't expect them, and it's Andy Robertson on the right flank, and what a header that is, right in the top corner, and Pope for once has got no chance.
Shot from distance, Oh, and it's into the corner from nowhere from Jay Rodriguez. We thought that this game might not be dead. Liverpool bring on the big guns. And crikey, they'll need to fire because Burnley are level, and it's Jay Rodriguez with his 11th of the season. Low shot into the corner, past Alisson in a flash. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1.
Liverpool players are running towards their own goal. Nobody picks up Jay Rodriguez. It's Van Dijk trying to get to him. He turns his back, and Alisson has got no chance. And I have to say, that is just desserts for Burnley, because they have been in this game from the first whistle.
Westwood bent it in again, fisted clear, only as far as Gudmundsson off the crossbar. It's still in play, and it's headed behind by Gomez for a corner. Gudmundsson denied. My goodness, Burnley not just knocking at the door, they're trying to bust it wide open.
He's got to score because Alisson is out of the game. He flaps at this cross for the 5th time in a match. They're asking questions of him. Clearly they feel he's a weakness from that corner, but it drops to Gudmundsson off the bar. He has to put it in. He has to.
That close, Burnley, to a historic win at Anfield. Joe Gudmundsson rattling the woodwork, and don't forget after that as well, Liverpool with another golden chance to win it for Mo Salah, who is still stuck on 19 Premier League goals for the season. 2 goals in midweek, Dave Kitson. He did not get one today, and he did not play well, did he? I mean, he had several chances. Yes, Nick Pope was brilliant, but Mo will be kicking himself, and as you alluded to, I think his boss Jurgen Klopp, who set such high standards, will be far from happy.
Yeah, he was. He was a very frustrated figure on the touchline, Jurgen Klopp, because we're getting a look back now at some of the chances, and you forget just how many Liverpool had. And that man, as you say, Mo Salah, had a couple of real good opportunities to put this game out of sight from a Burnley point of view, and he didn't take them. That said, his 2 best chances were brilliantly saved by Pope, who was by far and away the man of the match today. Incredible game. And we mentioned how coming in, Burnley's record here and against Liverpool in general is horrific. I mean, it was 1974 the last time they won here, and they were a sliver of the woodwork away from doing it. Yeah, he should score. You heard it there in the commentary. Gudmundsson comes onto the ball. He does have an open goal. He just has to prod it goalwards. There's no one there to beat, and he inexplicably hits the crossbar. But that said, if they'd have won, it would have been exceptional. But getting the point, considering how many chances Liverpool had, you've got to say, who's the happier man? It will be Sean Dyche.
Shedrack has tweeted in saying that was ridiculous football from Liverpool, the waste of opportunities. And I think as much as we do set high standards and we think they're brilliant, that was not really good enough, was it? Particularly from what they have shown for so long.
Yeah, no, look, it happens sometimes, but the record that they've had, the law of averages suggests that eventually, something like this is going to happen. It wasn't really that Liverpool played badly as such. It was just that they came up against a team that had a very, very clear game plan that worked for them, and they found a man in form in Nick Pope who was just absolutely incredible today.
He really was. Great work from him. And Liverpool ultimately are denied the win. It has been quite a game, Dave Kitson, and one that we can take in for a good while, I think. Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, and Newcastle away is Liverpool's season running. Can they get to 100 points plus and still nick that 101 to beat Man City's record? They've still got a chance, but their hopes very much dented by a Burnley team who've got the job done today and mightily deserving of their point. Wolves, Norwich and Brighton, their final 3 games. Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It finishes, my friend. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1 on Premier League Live.
We're pleased to be reopening drive-through lanes and McDelivery, but helping keep you and our team safe is our priority. So, we have fewer people working, and to make social distancing easier, we've installed screens in kitchens and service areas. Before reopening, all our restaurants will be deep cleaned, and we'll be cleaning equipment and surfaces even more often. For now, we're open for reduced hours and serving a reduced menu. And to keep everyone moving quickly and safely, please use contactless payment. With smaller teams, service will take longer than usual, so thank you for your patience. To see if your local McDonald's is open, visit mcdonalds.ie. McDelivery at participating restaurants only.
Hi, John here from Carl's of Tullamore. For the past 40 years, Carl's have been crafting premium succulent deli ham, cooked to perfection using our signature recipes, taking our time to get this product just right for you. Experience the true taste of tradition. Ask for Carl's at the deli counter.
The switching revolution continues at Carphone Warehouse with deals you won't find anywhere else. Get the Huawei P30 Pro and a GT smartwatch for just $49.99 on a €40 a month plan with Vodafone, now with unlimited data. but only when you switch at Carphone Warehouse. And get the iPhone SE for free when you switch to a Vodafone €40 a month plan with unlimited data. So get into your local Carphone Warehouse store and join the switching revolution today. T's and C's apply. Offer subject to availability and 24-month contract.
Home, where we find all the things and people we cherish most. It's where we take a break from whatever is happening outside, stick the kettle on and bake even more banana bread. Whether late at night, early in the morning, or even a time you're not there, your home should always be your safe place. At PhoneWatch, we work 24 hours a day to ensure our customers always feel safe. Get PhoneWatch installed for just €199. Monitoring fees apply.
I'm 43. We have one dependent, a daughter.
You'll never defeat me!
Yes, I will! Sorry, where were we?
Want to talk pensions while playing table tennis with your daughter? Now you can. Chat from home by video or phone with your financial broker or advisor about retirement planning with Irish Life. It's a smart way to get your pension sorted and really perfect that backhand. We know Irish Life. We are Irish Life. Irish Life Assurance PLC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Now is the time to get out there and check into a Clayton Hotel. We've plenty of space and incredible deals, so you can enjoy a great escape. You'll love our wide open lounges and spacious rooms and restaurants in superb locations all over Ireland. Don't delay. Experience Clayton's affordable luxury while you can. Relax and unwind in our wonderful spaces at great rates. Book a break at Clayton Hotels from a very special €99 per night at claytonhotels.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Premier League live with Talk Sport.
Pulisic 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Oh, what a goal! It may well be the goal that gives Liverpool the title.
It's Fernandes, and it's into the corner. Bruno Fernandes cannot stop scoring.
The goals, the stories, the sackings, the thrashings, and everything in between.
It's Yarmolenko trying to get the ball past Rudiger onto his left foot. Yarmolenko scores a heavenly goal for the Hammers. What a strike that is. What a goal from Wilfried Zaha. It's one of the goals of the season.
Let the drama unfold. Premier League live with Talk Sport.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Sheffield United against Chelsea from Bramall Lane. I'm your match commentator Toby Gillis. Alongside me the former West Ham QPR and Toronto FC forward Hogan Ephraim. This is Premier League Live. Squeaky bum time. I think Sir Alex Ferguson once said of this period of the season when there's so much on the line for so many. Who'd have thought at the start of the campaign this one would be in that category for both sides in terms of chasing a spot in European football. An extraordinary achievement for Sheffield United, but Chelsea need to keep on keeping on as they chase a return to Champions League football once again. It is a clash in many ways of the Titans. Sheffield United unbeaten in 3, starting the day in 7th position, would you believe? Chelsea start 3rd, but no dropped points would allow the likes of Leicester and Manchester United an opportunity to clamber above them later on in the match day. Let's take a quick look at the team news. Not an awful lot to tell you about. Sheffield United make just one change from victory over Wolverhampton Wanderers last time out. A really good home victory, that one on Wednesday. Billy Sharp drops out of the side, and David McGoldrick, who was injured for that game, comes back in for his 450th career appearance up front. They have Dean Henderson in goal. The back three, Chris Basham, John Egan, Jack O'Connell. We'll talk about them, no doubt, in the build-up to kick off. Then the midfield five, George Baldock, Oliver Norwood and Enda Stevens in right to left, and Sander Berger and Ben Osborne given a little bit more licence to get forward from central positions. And then McGoldrick partnering Ollie McBurney up front. Chelsea beat Crystal Palace last time out by 3-2. That one really was narrow when you consider the wonderful stoppage time block by Kurt Zouma to prevent what was a sure equaliser for Crystal Palace otherwise. The two are Billy Gilmour enforced. He's out for 3 to 4 months. His season is certainly over, the young teenager. But Olivier Giroud, who started 5 of the last 6, drops onto the substitutes bench. Jorginho has given a first start since February, and Tammy Abraham, scorer of 2 goals in the 2-2 draw between these two sides earlier on in the season, starts up front for the Blues. So they have Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. The back four: Reece James, Andres Christensen, Kurt Zuma and Cesar Azpilicueta, the captain. The midfield three: Ross Barkley, Jorginho and Mason Mount. Then Willian, one of the informed players in the entire Premier League, alongside Christian Pulisic, who you could probably say the same about. They are supporting right and left Tammy Abraham up front. Hogan Ephraim is alongside me for this one. Sheffield United, Hogan, have been in stunning form, but you might look at Chelsea and say they've been the team of the restart.
I think Chelsea would definitely be up there. I know they had the slip up against West Ham, but they're scoring goals for fun. Willian's been a major problem, but Pulisic alongside probably Mason Greenwood's been the best player since the restart in my eyes. So Chelsea look a big threat, but Sheffield United, they've picked up the last couple of results, and they could cause this Chelsea team some problems. I have no doubt about that whatsoever, because they look a bit frail at the back, Chelsea.
Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United boss, was asked about this upturn in form, and he's actually looked back at last season. He said when they were under pressure,